Washington, the empathy and honesty and integrity and character of a Jimmy Carter. And so what Joe Biden, and I think this is what will be interesting to watch, this partnership. On one hand, Biden comes in, he's here to be a healer, and he's also the inside guy. Kamala Harris as a partner, she's there to sort of keep the progressives and sort of, the outside activists also, in a governing partnership. It's going to be interesting. If it's effective, that's what it'll look like. If it's ineffective, then we'll see the results.
She's also a bridge to a new generation, I think, inside the Republican Party. You think of the arc of history that Joe Biden has seen in his political career, but we are, in fact, moving potentially forward, and he needs someone to help him do that.
So let's find out what the Trump White House is saying this morning. We've got Hallie Jackson on duty. I was just glancing at the popular vote. Yes, NBC News has projected that Joe Biden has won the election, but 70 million Americans voted for Donald Trump, 74 million approximately for Joe Biden.
I gotta get my
the White House on this call, and where's the president right now?
Are we live? Can you hear? Anyone? Okay, get here.
Outside the fencing that's been put up at the park in front of the White House, that crowd has been getting bigger. And when the race was called, there was a cheer that erupted from that plaza. I can tell you that as I departed here at, midnight last night.
Hey, man, ain't seen you in a while, Chris from South Jersey.
Of the race. There are folks outside in D.C. are listening to the returns, and they have been.
Yeah, get ready, folks.
So elsewhere in D.C., you heard cowbells.
We're moving on now.
They're gonna select him. City. Politically leading for people here,
he's
so that
going
is not
to be the perfect
I will say that for the Trump
puppet
campaign,
for the beast system.
we have heard nothing yet. I have reached out. Our team has reached out to contacts in the campaign for reaction here, but the legal perspective is that the president, and we know this, is going to keep on fighting until
273 to 214. They are calling it for Joe Biden.
There's set to be a news conference with some of the president's top advisors, Rudy Giuliani, Corey Lewandowski, Pam Bondi, about the legal push that they're mounting in that state. It looks like an uphill climb. The campaign so far has presented no evidence to back up any of its claims, not just to the news media, but to judges who have dismissed these cases in other states like Georgia and Michigan. This is a blow, obviously, for President Trump. It is a reality that he is going to need to face. I was told at about 10 o'clock last night by a couple of folks close to the president that he understood that he saw the writing on the wall, the writing that is now on the wall this morning here on NBC News as we've called this race. The question is, what happens next? I understand that he has no plans to concede until the recounts, the canvassing, the certification process has been finished in these battleground states. The latest deadline for that is December 1st, I believe. But anybody waiting for a concession from President Trump is going to be waiting quite a while longer, I believe. This is a president who has been inaccurately, incorrectly.
I don't even know what state they've given Joe Biden now at this point. Hey, Sue,
from him. Again,
I don't even know,
no evidence of the fraud
how he got to the 273 yet, but I'm sure they'll tell us.
Problems. It is likely that he will continue to keep up that messaging.
The New
and
World
that narrative.
Order.
Will he speak with reporters? Will we be able to see the president, the current president of the United States, at some point today? It is possible. There is always a group of people traveling with the president. It is not out of the realm of possibility that pool, that group of reporters, could be
Biden apparently has it avoided.
We are still working to find out what the plan is, when he might come back to the White House.
Anybody wants to join me?
Obviously, at some point.
I got to keep an eye on my yard. I'm having a yard sale.
This is
so I'm the only one home, and I'm having a yard sale, so I got to keep an eye on that.
Bracing for, I think, people around the president.
Anybody wants to join me? That would probably help too.
And we're trying to prepare him for this news as well.
Make some money.
Casey, you've been talking to your sources on the Republican side of things. How do you see this playing out over the next few days? Hallie just reported it's very unlikely we're going to get a concession call from President Trump. How will this go forward, do you think?
That makes sense. And I think that my sources are likely expecting that to happen. But I think the challenge for Republicans and the push that we're going to see behind the scenes is to get the president to lay low for the next day, to not inflame tensions further.
Just going to look and see what else is on while we're listening.
It's what Joe Biden has been saying. Trust the process, do the work. I think they're going to say to him, if your legal challenges, if they show evidence, if you go to court and there are legitimate questions to be raised, we will support you in that. We will focus on it. We will talk about it. But I think there is also an understanding that once it is clear that all of those avenues have been exhausted, they're willing to give the president a little bit of time to prove it. But it's not going to last forever, and they're going to be ready to say, "Okay, we're ready to accept."
Point is,
reports of celebrations in the streets here in New York. Obviously, a heavily blue city. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I think we've got some pictures of.
Hey, Pointage.
Hey, man. There's what you're looking at.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it today, but I guess they figure they're confident enough in in their fake numbers. Just check this out now, though. If you've got he's got 74,000 votes. That's the most votes from ever in the history. So that right there will tell you that there's corruption and fraud. But anyway, so if he got 74 and Trump got 70, around 70,000 or whatever, 70 million, so what is that? 70 and 70, it's barely half the population of America is what they're saying.
But it's not half the population.
Half voted.
But it's not even half the population that is allowed to vote, right? I mean,
it's a small number, so you got to figure half the people in the United States or more said the heck with it, which is good. I like that, but
so that actually means that actually all the people that could vote did go and vote.
Almost, I guess. Yeah, I mean, if you say there's 320 or 350 million, whatever it is, people, half of that is 150, 170, million. So, and you've got less kids than you think. Actually, it's only about 50, 60 million. Or not, no, it's more than that, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to see how many kids there are. But
there's also people excluded from voting.
Yeah. Well, taken care of. A lot of people have gotten their rights back that were felons and stuff too, though. So they worked on that. But we know that this is a selection anyway. So this is just all show, and they already knew who they were going to put in. In most cases, but yeah, it's just great. At least we're moving on. At least we're going to be able to move on. And no president has ever done, it never been a savior. It isn't like Trump was going to save us or Biden can so these people are already wrong for putting so much faith in politicians anyway. And, but what a joke.
Or are we going to see something? I mean,
it's a joke any which way,
To me, that is
bad joke on good people.
Managing the pandemic and this transition.
Managing the pandemic and also getting COVID relief. I mean, this is something.
The one thing you can say about Biden getting in is that he definitely doesn't give a crap about locking this country down and ruining every small business there is. I mean, he'll lock it down and keep it locked down till there's a civil war. I mean, he's just that stupid. His people are too. And they're that much of yes men and women to the B system that they're gonna whatever the dumb doctors say do. The ones in charge of COVID or whatever. They're gonna say yeah, sure, we'll shut down everything. More than Trump did.
Control of the Senate for 2 months down in one state.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
I don't care either way, because I don't participate in it, but you know, it's still a huge sign of what's to come, you know, because Trump didn't want to enslave us as quickly as Biden does. There, I'll say that. He wants to enslave you, but just not as quick as Biden does. How about that? Yeah, you know, I think that's a fair statement. So, you know, yes, enslavement of everyone is coming, but how fast do you want it? You want it now, or you want it, you know, later, whatever, I guess. But you know, I think they've got big balls. You know, the New World Order for coming as far as they have with all this stuff, and you know, I know who wins in the end. So you know, they can speed it up or slow it down either way. You know, whatever. But I know they're not going to succeed in the end of enslaving everyone. They're definitely not going to enslave us. So you know, and to a certain degree, we could say yes, they have us enslaved already to the dollar and to you know, to you know, so much of you know their crap. But you know, we are resisting and helping people understand that you know, politics is garbage, and it's even mainstream religion, you know, that's been hijacked. It's all been hijacked, religion and politics, and the beast system is trying to keep everybody you know, hijacked and enslaved and in control, you know, best they can.
We should get you in on this conversation. The question of what
man.
agenda.
Anybody else want to join us? You can. I don't know if anybody's backstage. Better look. Okay, I'll throw out the link one more time. And yeah, this is.
But the good news is that Mac is free, right? That's the good news.
Yes, Mac is free. Yes. He does have a court date though, right?
Or Democrats.
Yeah. So let's hope that he makes it through that okay. And
he has house arrest, right?
Snitches, they get theirs. So his neighbor, you know, it wouldn't even have mattered if he hadn't have been bragging about what he did. You know, his neighbor was all over him and had turned him in, you know, when he knew he went to the States, period. You know? So I'm glad I know my neighbors, and none of them would ever, you know, do some crap like that.
Well, I don't only have one neighbor like that. I have like 10 neighbors like that. So I know what he's talking about.
Yeah. I see. I mean, you gotta be careful where you move to. You know, you know, sometimes
things can just change around you. You know.
And now I will say this too: where I moved from was because of neighbors. My sister, it's a duplex, big duplex. My sister lives in the other side of it now, but I moved from down there a mile away down to this house because I had some neighbors on the other side of me that were like Nazis, and I think they actually are German. I don't know, but old couple that would just harass me and come and stand in front of my house and throw temper tantrums, you know, like just like a kid, and you know, just constantly hated on me. Call anytime I'd have a little fire or anything, you know. I mean, just you know, constantly trying to make my life hell, you know. And they didn't even live on my street; they lived on another street, you know, too. Wow. So they didn't even have to come down 2 streets. Actually, they'd have to go down 1 street and then turn, you know, to be on another street to be on, you know, in front of my house. And it's just like, you know, people go out of their way to you know, to just be the police. Yeah.
Don't get me started.
No, I know. Right. Anyway, I appreciate you people here. Hey, D Bird. Hey, Sue Finelli, Kelly, Fe, Flat Accord Music Fam. D Bird, if I didn't say it. Chris from South Jersey was first in here, I believe. Mr. LA was in here, and Dean HD stopped in too. Hey. This was just a spur of the moment show because I came inside and I heard NBC say, you know, it was done, and so you see the numbers there, 273 to 214.
Critics and even some around him expected him to put out.
I think It's such bullshit.
Popular vote 92% in Biden with 50.5% and Trump with 47.7. See, 74 million votes to 70 million, him. So yeah,
so that's like 154 million people went to the vote. I don't believe that. I don't believe
of course they didn't. Of course they didn't. Because if but hey, they're going to get away with some of that, But they were talking about this morning some very credible fraud that they've uncovered, whistleblowers and stuff about how the ballots were counted and all that stuff too. But look, I'm not going to go to bat for Trump at this point. I'm going to keep on preparing myself and others for the beast system that's going to be, put in, and maybe it's going to be in a little quicker now. But other than that, you're going to still. Trump was not going to completely drain the swamp. He was not going to defeat the New World Order, folks. They're bigger than that, and they even have permission from God to do what they're doing. So God's not even going to stop them until he's ready to come stop them. So they're going to have the upper hand, and we know by the way the story goes that Satan is going to win many souls, and he's going to think he's the winner by winning so many souls, but he's not going to get ours, and he's not going to get anybody else that's on the fence that we help come down on the right side of things, and that's our role in this. And I hope and pray that every one of y'all, it at least is telling people to just repent, prepare, watch, and share the truth until the end, and don't have any fear, and don't, I shouldn't even fear Joe Biden getting in and moving things quicker, because it's okay. It's going to work out. Your redemption does still draw near, and maybe nearer, but it's all meant to be. And these people have been using the Bible as a playbook. And God is going to, take care of these people who are dead set on enslaving us, fully.
Speculated that perhaps he would fire people like his Defense Secretary Mark Esper. NBC News has reported that
going to try to see what else we got going on here. The impossible has happened. Let me pause this and play this real quick. This is Jesus Freak Computer Geeks message
Let's
about
see what David has to say about it.
Impossible has happened.
He's on his side there.
Yeah.
He's on the side of the globe right now. Or
in case
something.
we haven't noticed, anything is possible in 2020. So the people, I suppose, have decided. Yeah, the people have decided.
The lizards.
Wife just said
The
that
lizards have decided.
The reptilians.
AP, I mean UP. Yes, the AP, Associated Press, announced that Joe Biden is the 46th president of the United States.
And NBC too.
Wow. It's kind of odd because those two states were leaning Trump for the past several days. So I have to keep telling myself it doesn't matter, because that's what I know to be true in the first place. But
right.
somehow my heart's thinking, because this freaking man is crazy.
They're all crazy.
Okay? And well, we live in crazy times. So what do you want? What do you want from me?
Flat, fam.
So I just had to get on here and share my lamentation with you all. Joe Biden. Yes.
No.
Jumping Joe Biden.
Jumping Joe
Biden. The United States and our
He's
vice
coming out of hiding.
president. We get to hear
He's ready
her
to
voice
sniff you all over.
4 years. That's going to be fun.
He's not going to last 4 years. He's not even going to last 6 months, dude.
Not that I'm pro Trump.
Would you let Joe Biden sniff you?
for whatever reason,
Sniff my ass.
things weren't bad enough already in this nation. Now we get to see
He wants to sniff
this
you.
grand experiment, right?
Instead of hugs, he'd sniff.
Anyway, we'll see where this goes. We'll see if Trump gracefully bows out.
I doubt it.
Trump and gracefully? How do you combine those two words in one sentence?
Commit suicide?
He said, "How many Trump supporters are going to commit suicide?" and laughed. Wow.
You know, and it's the one thing you could say. Well, they are in a better place. Just saying. All right, love y'all. We'll see you.
Wow. Oh my.
Even no, you go, would this be a 5-front war? The point is that that's it. And by the way, with also cross currents, you got to argue in one place to limit some ballots being counted.
But all the rallies that he initiated, that Biden initiated, there was hardly any folk there
on that, or expand provisionals.
I think you've explained it fairly well. But for Joe Biden right now, he is leading in all of the relevant battleground states except for North Carolina. But even if Pennsylvania were to somehow disappear, and obviously NBC News does not believe that to be the case, he still has a potential Georgia-Nevada track, or he has an Arizona-Nevada track,
or I believe at this point now Georgia and Nevada.
Correct. I just looked it up.
Georgia, Arizona,
Georgia and Nevada.
Arizona,
even if he
Nevada,
loses Arizona,
right.
Georgia and Nevada would get him
any two of those three, right? So that's the, and so he's got to somehow.
They're saying 284 here
I do want to,
on this one. Important USA Today.
This story. This
and they're saying three. Oh, this is 306
electoral vote. Final electoral vote between the two, 306, 232. 306, 232 is what we had 4 years ago, and it sort of reinforces the point that I'm trying to make here, which is the 2016 election was not an outlier. This is a country that is divided along the lines we've been divided on, and Joe Biden won because he put together Hillary Clinton's vote and the none of the above vote from 4 years ago, who decided, I don't know if I want another 4 years of this. I'm going to go with Joe Biden.
I want to show
and he won the presidency.
Some folks some video that just came in to our newsroom. This is the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and we're hearing this story. Spontaneous applause and celebration outpouring. On the
Yeah, they're applauding my ass.
Oh yeah, I don't see anybody hanging out the window, but there's apparently
no, because they don't want to get shot. Nobody wants to get shot.
This news on a Saturday morning starts to get out. We're going to see these the evidence of the divided
here you go.
We have pouring out into the.
I'll be damned if I be out there.
By the way, the cities, of course, have been the more blue areas, so you're going to see a lot of cities in one place, and you're going to see perhaps a lot of anger in some.
As we saw in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
And Hillary Clinton has tweeted memorably that the voters have spoken. It's a history-making ticket, a repudiation of Trump, and a new page for America. Thank you to everyone who helped make this happen. Onward together.
Hillary Clinton said that.
Kristen Welker in Wilmington. What do you got?
Savannah, we're hearing from the now president-elect Joe Biden. Let me read you his statement. This is just coming in. I am honored and humbled by the trust the American people have placed in me and in Vice President-elect Harris. In the face of unprecedented obstacles, a record number of Americans voted, proving once again that democracy.
Look at your fired sign.
Campaign over. It's time to put the anger and the harsh rhetoric behind us and come together as a nation. It's time for America to unite.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm still here too, PRD. Thank you.
And there's nothing we can't do if we do it together. So there you see again, Joe Biden really stressing and calling for unity in this moment, acknowledging the fact that these results in these key battleground states were close, acknowledging that it is going to be up to him now to try to unify what is a divided nation.
How many times did he sniff her?
The reaction that we're getting from President Trump, I think it bears reminding people and underscoring something that you said, Savannah, which is that this was not a surprise to the Biden campaign. They were prepared for this type of reaction.
I don't know if we can even say this is the first pedo we've had in the White. We're going to have in the White House.
To remind people what their posture is.
Definitely not.
As we said on July 19th, the American people will decide this election, and the United States government is perfectly capable of escorting trespassers out of the White House. So, to that point, defiance from the Biden campaign, from President-elect Joe Biden, who is clearly not going to be daunted by the comments of President Trump. In terms of those legal battles, the Biden campaign in the days leading up to this historic moment have called those legal challenges meritless. They've called them charades, and they say they have a team of lawyers ready to fight them. So it is significant, though, that we're getting our first reaction from Joe Biden himself as he prepares to take the mantle of president-elect. Savannah and Lester.
Kristen, welcome.
Yep,
Thank you. As we look at that crowd at Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, D.C., near the White House. And again, you saw some of the images from New York. One person described it to me as very much like the saluting the medical heroes that was a part of the COVID response. People on balconies and out of their windows celebrating. Again, these are images coming from obviously two very blue parts of this country, but a lot passions.
How is Joey gonna feel?
Oh man, Joey's gonna come back. I'm sorry, guys. I was stupid.
He's gonna feel bad, man.
He might jump on the Biden train now.
If you feel bad, for Joey Rocha, press 1.
Philadelphia spoke in 1787.
If you think he's going to jump on the Biden train, press 2.
Spoke in 2020, and he got president of the United States. In a way, it's really circular. And that theme of healing and unity that all of you have been talking about.
We love you, Joey Rocha, but you go mad.
The founders always wanted us all to fight over policies. They felt that was the way of having the best country because they didn't want the United States to be like England, where all the policies were made by the but at the same time,
we got another
over policies and over who would be a president of the United States.
Press 1 if you feel bad for Joey. Press 2 if you think he's going to jump on the Biden train.
They wanted conciliation.
Press 3 if you think he's gone insane.
Were called A Time to Heal. I think that's a perfect word for this moment. This moment could not be more of a time to heal for the United States of America.
It is just after 12 o'clock here on the East Coast. If you're just joining us, there's the headline at the bottom of your screen.
When will the Trump lovers come out
Joe Biden,
armed and dangerous?
President of the United States, and you see some of the reaction there.
Dang, we got some threes.
If I can, David Pluffett of the
Joey Rocha's insane, man.
For President Obama. And David, with you, I'd like to talk about the
next
this period between now and January 20th with a defiant President Trump right now. Explain how this is going to work. Transition is so key between two administrations.
Yep, musicians for truth.
Well, it is, Lester, particularly given the pandemic and all the economic challenges. But I'd start by saying Donald Trump might not move on, but the rest of the world is going to move on. In a matter of days, Joe Biden will be announcing who his various cabinet secretaries are going to be. He'll be meeting and talking to members of Congress in both parties. So Trump, to me, becomes increasingly irrelevant, other than the peaceful transfer of power, a sitting president, an incoming president working carefully on transition has always been a hallmark of our democracy. So that's what concerns me. It doesn't concern me the statements he's going to make, or is there some legal route here for Trump to undermine that?
I guarantee some of these people are Trump supporters in this crowd. They're just not admitting it.
To work cooperatively with the incoming Biden administration. But listen, the world's going to look very different, really, in a matter of days. Again, as he says, here's who's my Secretary of Treasury is going to be, my health secretary.
Yeah, right. The world's going to look very different in a couple of days. Because why? Well, because Joe Biden. Yeah.
Schumer.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's where we are. We should not.
He's going to bring so many changes in this world.
Somebody did a breakdown of his name and her name, and it was not good.
Peaceful transfer of power in terms of working cooperatively. And is he going to fire a lot more people? Are there going to be executive orders done to benefit, he or his family? That's what we need to be concerned about.
And David, what tone would you advise Joe Biden to take vis-a-vis those folks who did vote for Donald Trump and who maybe
I don't think they even have to prove it. Musicians for Truth thread. I think it's going to hit the fan. I said it a few days ago. I really think that it's going to get ugly.
How should Joe Biden speak to them
between the two, lovers, the Biden lovers and the Trump lovers?
Savannah, is you're going to have everybody.
Yeah, I don't think anything else has to be done. They're going to be triggered once they all find out, and it hits them. Oh yeah.
This is not a close election historically. Okay, Joe Biden's going to win with a higher percentage of the popular vote than Barack Obama did in 2012, and certainly Donald Trump.
I mean, that's incredible, right? Even higher than Obama. I mean,
And
Yes,
Yeah, the whole world came out and voted for Obama, you know, or whatever. At least that,
and again, I
you
think
know.
things start
Yeah,
changing
I don't know.
today.
It's just
That
ridiculous,
intensifies
man.
tomorrow. So Donald Trump may not be satisfied, but I think Joe Biden is going to reach out to those voters. I'm sure it's one of the first things he's going to say tonight.
Dude, are there really like 154 million people registered to vote? Are they?
Yeah. Check it out. Go ahead and I'll do it real quick. Hang on.
This is a free and fair election.
I've already looked it up before. How many?
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah, registered voters. Okay, here we go.
Since FDR,
it is.
So he needs to rally the American people, as many as he can, around some of his policy prescriptions and how he's going to lead us out of this pandemic.
And I think, too, Savannah, I mean, everything we've seen from the former vice president, now president-elect, underscores that he's likely to do what David was just outlining. This is someone who has had a sort of North Star on his campaign all the way along. I mean, he had so many people doubting him in the primary, in the general election, even his own sometimes campaign staffers.
In 2018, there was 235 million people old enough to
stayed true to that, even in the face of that kind of opposition. He kept saying,
yeah, but how many are registered?
That's happening everywhere.
It says
people want something broader,
70%
than what's happening
of the voting age.
Was vindicated in that, and everything
70% of those eligible
says that he is someone he
so
has
70% of 230 million,
decades-long really relationship with Mitch McConnell, who
so
makes the Republican leader again.
Yeah. That's about that 170. That's about 170.
Obama was president. When we had President Obama, it was Vice President Joe Biden who was cutting deals with members of Congress and working with those relationships. So I think we are about to enter a
now this one's an updated one. It says 257 million people. That's a little more are 18 or older.
So the kinds of nominees
and 240 it says are eligible to vote, and nearly 240. So 240 is the number.
Biden really would want. I feel like he knows who he wants in his cabinet, and it may actually line up with the Republican Senate.
Challenge, Andrea, for Joe Biden.
Half that would be 170, right?
I mean, yes, he knows he's going to face Republican opposition. There's nothing new about that. The parties are always at loggerheads. But within his own party, he has, as Casey just outlined, a long history of rather centrist streaks.
Scott,
that is not where the activism
apparently
in the Democratic Party
that
is
Simpsons
right now.
episode that had
navigate that terrain?
Trump in a casket was fake. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know where else. Where are you talking about that he was supposed to get shot?
From George
W. Bush. Where's that from?
With how welcoming the Bush White House was to them, despite their policy disagreements over Iraq and a host of other issues. They found a roadmap. It was an absolutely professional.
Those girls are just so ignorant. It's sad. It's sad, pathetic.
To Donald Trump.
They don't even know what they're truly voting for, whatever, or hoping for.
All sorts of tabletop exercises. I was at the White House one day doing an interview with Susan Rice. She was about to go into a tabletop with the incoming Mike Flynn national security team.
On a pandemic.
Yeah. And there was nothing planned by the incoming team. They had nobody to meet with because there had been no appointments. Remember, Chris Christie and the transition had been fired. They had replaced Chris Christie with Mike Pence on the incoming transition. They were never organized on policy. It was never about policy. It was always about Donald Trump. And that has been the case. So you're going to find not only the hostility, but there are so many vacancies and the White House chief of staff and all of that. So they're going to have problems in just the transition. But there are rules. They're very well laid out, but they were never observed by the Trump team coming in.
But do you have to wait till the elections are certified?
Well, they do have transition offices that are set up even when they become nominees, but now it goes into full gear.
All right, we're just going to check this one real quick. Is anybody backstage? Oh, shoot, I'm sorry, I didn't look again. Daggum. Okay, no, we're good. All right, I'm gonna put the link out there. If anybody else wants to come in for a minute or whatever and say your piece, you know, if you want to say something, just come on in, and we'll let you say whatever you want to say. Just let me know that in the comments that you're backstage. New York City. That's New York City down there. Than what you're hearing. Bunch of Masketeers, COVIDiots there for you.
Yeah, how about that yard sale? What are you selling?
All kinds of stuff, from tools to knickknacks to furniture to some couple brand new windows. Let's see, a grill, a toolbox, old army box, an antique army box, locker box.
Okay.
Yeah, all kinds of little things. And my neighbors are having a yard sale next to me too. The old ladies, the ladies that I always talk about that are struggling. I've made like $12 so far. Hey, it's 11:11 here. About it's all right. I've had a few cars and people come, and like I said, I made a few bucks. Oh, I made $20 yesterday, so I've made like $30-something already. But because I sold a couple things yesterday before they even started the yard sale. So anyway, I got books, a lot of books. Now I probably should find somewhere to sell these books better because nobody's even looking. But I've got a bunch of really good, popular novel books, and then some like books on learning different stuff, math and electrical stuff, and whatnot. Just some decent books, but nobody reads books anymore, huh? They got the internet for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some old albums too, some old record albums also. Yeah. Some few things here and there. A table, chairs. Yep. All right, so let's see what we can find now. Look, somebody's climbing up on a pole there. Idiot. He's gonna get. They probably won't mess with him. Let the people do what they want.
You were suggesting that the diversity of Joe Biden's cabinet. I think that is one thing that
see if we can find
Democrats,
anybody
on Capitol Hill, but also across the country. They're looking to see themselves represented.
You probably have a woman defense secretary, Michelle Flournoy.
And possibly
she worked in the
first
Pentagon
woman treasury,
in the Obama administration.
Possibly the first woman Treasury Secretary, the first woman defense secretary. Sort of these last sort of, for some reason, relics, if you will, and just that stuff. And by the way, you shatter that stuff, and at the same time, you can still strike your ideological balance. And that's what he's going to have to do. It's not going to be easy, and he's going to have to.
This is supposed to be Trump's attorneys.
Homeowners are raving about Leaf Filter, the proven solution that ends gutter cleaning forever.
If it keeps out shingle grit and pine needles.
Come on, man. Rudy Giuliani. Can't hear the questions.
Well, let me first of all, obviously he's not going to concede when at least 600,000 ballots are in question. It's not my job to determine if the ballots are right or not. It's their job. But with a mail-in ballot or an absentee ballot, the burden under law is on the party that's proposing it, which is why it has to be inspected. It's not my. How can I possibly tell you there's fraud or no fraud? The way they conducted themselves,
like fraud,
because it looks. I can't tell you exactly what's on the ballot. They conducted themselves in a way that suggests that there was fraud. One of the things that does involve fraud is not making it possible for the people who are supposed to inspect. That's a fraud. That's a fraud on the voters. The voters expect that their inspectors are going to be able to inspect.
Inspect these.
The voters were defrauded of that right. We will not know if those 600,000 ballots were valid, invalid, or not. Having conducted themselves that way, they certainly present a very strong circumstantial case that the ballots were tampered with. Also, the highly unusual, almost mathematically impossible reduction in the vote in that period of time also raises the question that the ballots were tampered with. So they've done everything they can to yell out to you we were tampering with the ballots without being stupid enough to show it to you. They kept our inspectors away. They kept our inspectors away uniformly. I don't think we're going to find a single Republican that ever got to look at one of those ballots.
Wow.
When the law requires that we are allowed to look at them. They did it here and they did it in Pittsburgh. That can't be a coincidence. How do they figure out in Pittsburgh they should do the same thing that happened here? And they didn't do it in other places. I'm sorry. I'm going to ask Corey Lewandowski to explain his experience. Now, I said I'm going to have...
Well, I appreciate you being here today. Let me just give you one concrete example, not anecdotal, but concrete example of what we believe to be valid voter fraud in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I draw your attention to an obituary listed for one Denise Ondish in Allegheny County. Born 9/10/1946. Deceased 10/22/2020. Her application to vote was received on 10/23, the day after she died.
Wow.
It was then mailed by the county back to her on 10/24/2020, 2 days after she had legally passed away. And the ballot was then received back at the county office on November 2nd, 2020. And when you go to the Secretary of State's website today, it says that she voted in this election effective November 2nd, 2020, a full 9 days after Miss Ondish of Allegheny County passed away. This is not, excuse me, this is not empirical. This is not anecdotal. This is hard evidence. And if you do your jobs from the media, I'm sure you'll find additional examples. And this will be one of many that we will be filing with the court. Thank you very much.
Also, when you say that there's no evidence, the people standing
starting to look like the penguin
behind me are called witnesses. They will eventually, soon hopefully, appear in court and give this testimony, because we're going to file a federal lawsuit that will cover here and Pittsburgh, and we will have as many witnesses as the court needs. Right now, it could be as many as 90 witnesses. That's called evidence that there was a uniform deprivation of the right to inspect, which constitutes a fraud on the people of Pennsylvania, constitutes a fraud on all legitimate voters. Any illegitimate vote cancels a legitimate vote. And the burden of proof as to whether it's a legitimate ballot or not, when it's a mail-in ballot, is on the person proposing the ballot, because there's no other way to justify it. Well, they made it impossible to view those ballots, and there can be only one conclusion as to why you would make it so impossible. Because many, many of them were fraudulent. And you just don't lose leads like that without corruption. And you're in a city in which voter fraud is professional. It's not just amateur. Some places may be amateurs at voter fraud. Philadelphia is a professional place for voter fraud because you have a decrepit Democrat machine that you have had in power for 60 years. And it's the reason why you have voter fraud. It's the reason why you have so much crime. It's the reason why you're leading the country in some categories of crime. Because these people are not helping the people of Philadelphia. Their loyalty is to the Democrat Party.
Democrats and Republicans.
Please. I'll answer 3 questions, one at a time. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Wiener?
Wiener?
Who is a winner or a cheater? Oh, is he a winner or a cheater? Well, that's what we want to find out. We have a right. I mean, here's what I can say about this evidence. This evidence is overpowering in that it suggests we need a very, very detailed hearing. We have to find out exactly how many ballots are implicated, how many ballots were not inspected. The estimates I have so far, but we haven't finished this investigation, is it was about 150 to 200,000 ballots here and about 300,000 ballots in Pittsburgh. It may be more, it may be less. Now, that's very serious because the margin of victory, after being behind by 800,000, was only about 40,000. And it's a little odd that every vote from Tuesday on was all for the one candidate. There's also a very strange thing that happened, which will be part of our case. At some point during the process, when the lead of President Trump reduced from something like 50,000 to 30,000, at the time it was at 50,000, 94% of the vote had been cast. When we got to 30,000, it was only 90% of the vote cast. Now, I can get experts to tell you how that happens. That happens because you increase the denominator. What do you increase the denominator with? New ballots. Nobody was informed of new ballots unless people were writing them up.
Barry, I'm in Florida.
This will be a very, very strong case. And I know you won't accept it because of your hateful biases, but
Pensacola, Florida.
Try thinking rational. The poll? Because they don't decide the election. The call for Joe Biden.
Welcome, Barry. Nice to have you.
What was it called by? Oh my goodness, all the networks. Wow. All the networks. We have to forget about the law.
What's he doing?
Judges don't count. All the networks thought Biden was going to win by 10%. Gee, what happened? Come on, don't be ridiculous. Networks don't get to decide elections.
Yeah, they do this time.
Of course, courts set aside elections when they're illegal. In this particular case, I don't know if there's enough evidence to set aside the entire election. Certainly not around the country, maybe in Pennsylvania. However, there certainly is enough evidence to disqualify a certain number of ballots. The ballots that were not properly inspected should be thrown out. And that number of ballots should be taken out of the count. That could affect the election. I can't hear two people at once. I'm sorry. That's a whole new issue. That's a whole new issue that we're just developing. Seems to be a significant number of ballots, and there seems to be a significant number of.
Quit scratching your head.
I shouldn't say significant. There seem to be 3 or 4 very credible witnesses.
You got lice?
That there was backdating going on, and there are direct witnesses for that. But I'm sure you'll call that not evidence. Not you, the general mob. Sure. Yes. Yes. Sure, simple. Thank you, sir. I can be a law professor. The case that we would file, many cases are going to be filed, some big, some small. This is going to be eventually a big case because it will go beyond Pennsylvania. But right now, the case is a civil rights case. It'll be filed in federal court. I'm sorry. It'll be filed in federal court. You could file it here or Pittsburgh. That'll be the choice of our lawyer who's looking at it now. Since there seem to be more cases in Pittsburgh than here right now, I would guess it would be filed in Pittsburgh, but it would affect both jurisdictions. And what the case alleges is very simply that President Trump's campaign was denied its right to a fair count, which is a deprivation of civil rights. And if that's the case, the court has a wide range of what are called equitable remedies.
Wow.
Equitable remedies could include depriving that jurisdiction of a certain number of votes, equal to the number of votes that are proved to be not inspected properly. It could be set aside an election, but that, that could be one of the things we ask for. But I think that if you set aside the votes, you would probably remedy the wrong that was done here. Now, it could turn out as we go beyond Pittsburgh and we go beyond Philadelphia, and we have a little bit of evidence elsewhere in another Democratic part of the state that the same thing was going on, that it might spread to there.
Look at that
Where I
sign he's
do
doing.
see it spreading, however, is sometime next week, unless I'm wrong, I think there'll be a similar case in Atlanta where similar things were going on. Republican inspectors showed up. They expected to inspect, right, like they do for absentee ballots, and they were uniformly kept out. They got to see nothing. And remember, Atlanta had to do the same thing you had to do. They had to catch Biden up because on election night he had lost. And he was down by a very good margin with only 85% to go. Something very similar happened in Michigan, Wisconsin, can't say Arizona, but in almost every state where President Trump had a lead going into the end of election night, some of the leads looking almost mathematically impossible to undo with the 5%, 10%, 20% of the vote. In almost all of those, this practice was followed. And I'm right now trying to find, did we get to see any ballots that we used for that purpose? If that's the case, then we have a massive nationwide lawsuit. So it could affect more than one state. But right now, the one that it definitely affects is the state of Pennsylvania in a very, very big way. But it's not the only infirmity in this state. There are dead people voting, no question about it. We get any number of complaints of that. We have a very serious problem with backdating of ballots, including 4 witnesses now who are testifying to that. Whether that becomes part of this lawsuit or it's something separate, that isn't developed as fast as this has. One last question.
That's a long question.
Well, that's like comparing apples and oranges, isn't it? They're not in charge of Philadelphia. How would, I'm glad they didn't see widespread fraud. That was in Republican counties. I don't think there was fraud in Republican counties. Well, then let them come and tell me that. I haven't found one who's willing to tell me that. Let him give me an affidavit under oath, under penalty of perjury. You're telling me these people are lying?
They're all liars.
I've spoken to about 50 people.
He likes to lick that tongue out. He must be a big fat lizard.
He is a lizard.
Every single inspector.
Iguana, big fat iguana.
No. I didn't speak to that.
Oh, man.
Are you the lawyer for the other side, by the way? Well, you should get paid for it. The reality is that nobody has come forward, even though I've called the state party, the city party. I've asked, is there anyone that wants to come forward and say that there's anything unusual about the man in charge of this whole process, who watched the whole thing, has already come forward and given us a signed statement that no one got a chance to inspect. Now, unless this man had a secret opportunity to do it, there was one person in charge of all these people. He was there constantly for both days. Not a single Republican got a chance to view a single ballot. Now, if we got to 10 or 12, well, then we'll reduce our number from 120,000 to 110,000. But you produced this man for me. So far, he hasn't come out of the woodwork. And, well, then, maybe, yeah. Well, if I were the commissioner of this city, I don't think I would admit that I didn't allow people to do this. I mean, last time a Republican played ball with Democrats like that in New Jersey, he went to jail for 10 years. Thank you.
The quantum space businessman just uploaded a new video.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, freaking Buzz Aldrin Jr. or whatever. Anatra, Chris Anatra.
Anatra, yeah, oh yeah, that's.
He's such a fucking joke. He's the one that said, "Hey, check it out. I wish I had have gone back and recorded it." He's the one that said that it is not good that we keep finding residue, and that it pisses pisses them off that we keep finding residue, and that we're not they didn't, we shouldn't be finding residue or whatever.
What does he have to?
No, I mean, it was like, he was kind of acting like it pissed him off too, but it was like he was saying to whoever it matters, they don't like us finding residue, Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he could go to space.
Yeah.
Fake space. Oh boy, that dude's a trip. What a joke.
I think 2021 will be the ideal year for you and me, just to stop thinking logically. Maybe we will see so much madness that we will just go mad too. I mean, it would be a solution.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to throw this out there one more time. Come on, some of y'all have something to say. You can come on for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 minutes, a minute.
They don't like us anymore, Tommy.
I want people to come on and say what they think about Trump and Biden and the whole thing. Will Biden, I guess he's in, but will he stay in? Anything to do with this? You can come on and say screw both of them, and you could say whatever. But I'm right here waiting. Somebody's going to come on and say.
Hey, so let me guess. Now that it's all about the elections, did you ever hear anything about the corona on the television these days?
Yes. In fact, from Biden saying he's going to lock shit down again. Yeah, I'm telling you. Trump at least had the sense that, to realize that, man, people are not going to stay locked up forever. I mean, seriously, because, that's why I say Hillary would have had us all in a FEMA camp by now if she'd have gotten in, So, yeah, there is one side that's a little more evil than the other, but they're both evil. And I'm not voting for either one because I don't vote. I don't do that. But I am talking about it because there is some of this is relevant and some of it is worth talking about. I think because we can make fun of them, or we can just keep on preparing, whatever. I don't care, But they don't care about you. They don't care about your vote. The New World Order is going to continue to, go forward their one world order agenda. And, that's what we got here. That God is even allowing them to do this, so that's the way you got to look at it. I think people were wishful thinking that, or hoping, even some truthers that Trump would get in there and it would be like another delay because it was a delay of the more demon side, the Democrats getting in, by keeping Hillary out, and I mean it's the same plan. It's just whether they have their foot down on the gas pedal all the way to the floor or halfway like Trump. So and they so Biden will get in there and he will do whatever the elite tell him to do. That's the one thing about the Democrats is that they definitely are yes men and women as long as they're getting taken care of you know, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They just gonna, you know, as long as their bosses are happy, the devil and everybody loyal to him, and they're getting paid, you know, then you know they're good. They're gonna go along with any plan, you know, no matter how evil it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
Trump.
nobody's
Trump,
calling in.
you know.
What's wrong?
Hey,
with
Rachel.
people?
Just a new puppet at the stadium. Exactly, it is. It's exactly what it is. But like I say, you know, one side is a little more evil than the other because they, or not even they have to say evil. They are just a little more happy-go-lucky to accelerate the one world order agenda being put in. The one world currency, one world government, one world religion. Trump's for all that too. He just has a little more sense than that side that just doesn't care. They're ready to go full throttle with the New World Order, you know. But yeah, Trump was just a little more sly and you know whatever, you know. And Republicans, man, both sides have been fooled for so long, dude. I mean, equally fooled, equally under delusion if they're, you know, for giving all their hope and faith to these people, you know. So the New World Order.
I will say this about it, you know, it's there's just one party, comrade, you know. You can choose, but you're choosing for one party. I mean, people should know this by now. There's just an agenda being rolled out, one time over the left, the other time over the right. And, comrade, there is just one party.
The shocking kind of thing is that when's the last time we had a president that only went 4 years, you know? I mean, it's almost a given that they're always going to get 2 terms, you know, but I mean, nope, it's not this time. Hey, welcome back, Kelly. Yeah, it's like I said. I mean, it's like God is definitely allowing it, you know, this stuff to happen because we're in the end times, and His plan is in you know, swing too, not just man's plan. It's God's plan too, and so He's going to crush, you know, the Republicans and the Democrats that have an evil agenda against us. They're all going down, you know, if they don't stop and repent and, you know. Whatever, but so, you know, and we know most of them are not going to. All world leaders at this point are pretty much on board with the New World Order. They didn't get where they're at this stage in the game to not be yes men and yes women to the beast system.
Yeah.
Still, nobody wants to join. I can't believe this. Wow, nobody's got nothing to say. Come on now. I see you. Come on for a second or
I think everybody's just baffled.
There's got to be somebody who wants to say something. I mean, I don't care about Trump or Biden. I don't care if you do. You can come on and say you love Trump or you love Biden or whatever. I don't care. But, you know, I'm just saying, somebody, I can't own, you know, I love voices like my brother, like, you know, but he's not here in America. I want to hear somebody too that's here and don't go nowhere for it. I'm just saying, you know. Don't you want to hear some more Americans say their piece on this? You know, and I know y'all are talking in the chat, but still, you know, don't be scared to come on and say what you think, you know, about this whole situation. It's a peculiar time.
Zepso just now said in the chat, like, Trump ain't done yet. He will never concede. It's not in the script.
Yeah, but see, I mean, you know,
it isn't over. It ain't over till it's over. And yeah, I think I feel Zepso. I think it isn't over yet either.
Yeah. You know, I just hey Patrick, I want to hear what you got to say. Come on and join us, man. Come on for a minute if you want. And tell us what you think. Anyway, you know, I'm almost glad that this is happening because it will wake people up. Some more people up. I think. You know.
It might. Hi, Patrick.
Oh boy, are we in for a ride of our lives, aren't we?
Yeah, it's very interesting times we see ourselves in now, for sure.
Stop that evil laugh, Tommy.
I can't help it, dude. These people are just blowing me away. So yeah, the dude's gonna be sniffing everybody. I guess now he's got permission to sniff everybody. He's the president. Oh no!
I don't think the Trump people are gonna allow Biden in the White House at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is gonna spark the Civil War.
Yeah, well, and that's great. I'm glad you said it because I did say that too. That it already we don't even have to see anything else happen. But if this goes to the court and then Biden still wins, oh yeah, this is gonna it'll get ugly quick. Just because that's how loyal these Trump supporters are and how pissed off they are or going to be, yeah, it's going to, you're right. Everybody's in shock right now, but they once it really hits that they're going to really have to deal with Biden for 4 years, 8 years, whatever. Oh yeah, it's going to really have them twist their their panties in a twist.
The voter fraud is so blatant that Trump. I don't see Trump conceding to this, and for sure the people who follow Trump, I have to agree with you, are not going to let this happen. They feel like their vote's not being. Trump supporters are for the Constitution. They're very strict and for the Constitution. And if their vote is not counted, this will go to civil war, and they will have no problem taking it there.
Yeah, I seriously doubt that the courts are going to do anything for Donald Trump, even with his money. Because at this point, the other side will put as much money in as Trump can too, I think. So money's not going to help anybody here unless these judges have a price and they're, in these particular things, but they're going to take it to the Supreme Court. And, so I don't know. I just, it's just, it's going from a New World Order dog and pony crap show to I think everybody's got, they've got everybody's attention, and we need to, keep an eye on this thing, because you might have to, fight off, people that are either Biden or Trump supporters. We're neither, so it's like, we're already outsiders. I don't know, but I'm not living in fear, and I welcome whatever the future has to hold, because I know that God is, is going to step in at some point and in the near future and take care of everything.
I agree. Hey, Bolt Gun.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Yeah, well, how's it going, man? Let us know what's going on in your mind.
Just another day in this crazy world, man.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but it's just got a little crazier. So, what do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what I think are doing is this is a perfectly well laid plan, very well orchestrated and played out to get a war started in this country, so that they can come in and mop it up. And like I've been telling everybody, man, that's this country's calling card, and I ain't kidding you. You guys have seen the people over in the Middle East with the purple dye on their fingers. Does everybody know what happened to them people after they voted? You ever wonder why in the world they murder somebody with indelible ink that you can't get off your finger?
Mm-hmm.
They create a bias. They get two sides in there, get them grinding on each other, create a bias. You got a conflict. You get a reason for the two sides to get to fight each other, and then they get to break all their toys out, call the UN, hey, we need help. Sorry, it's my wife on the four-wheeler. But I think that's what this is all about. And then gun owners, from being in the military and actually getting to witness firsthand, the weapons that they've let us keep are useless. I'm telling you guys that right now. The stuff that they've got now is just a conventional round hooked to it, like 20mm cannons and stuff like that. They got sighting systems and stuff on that. I was in the Marine Corps from 89 to 93, and there was stuff then you can't contend with. With the shoulder fired stuff we got. I don't care if you got a 50 MG, whatever. The stuff that they've let us keep useless. And if the two sides tangle with each other, they'll be on everybody with A-10s, Apaches. A big thing now is the AI. They've got she's the gravel over me. They got the drones and stuff like that. And man, I build them little drones, nothing like that stuff. But there's software that's on this stuff that comes. We can buy these little DJI power control boards and stuff like that, and they've got software on them where they your specific body temperature, and it's for a camera. But the first time I saw it, and was reading the pamphlet that come with it, and the program, what they call PIDs that go in there to make the thing actually fly, and it was on there. And I thought, boy, if you take a 9mm handgun or something and put on that thing, and you sight the camera into the beam that's on that takes your temperature, that thing is stuck on you. You turn it loose and it's stuck on you. If you got that thing that just fires around every now and then, or when it's locked on, I mean, this stuff's serious. I mean, just what somebody, a guy that's in the messing with these models like I am, that understands anything about a firearm, could assemble something like that. And once it's on somebody's specific body temperature, they can be in a crowd of 1,000 people and it will single them out. Because I can't remember how sensitive the body temperature is, but everybody's body temperature is exactly the same.
Right. I know. It's like a
signature. So we're dealing with technology that can single you out, and something can be put in where somebody's disconnected from your death, and like people care about death anymore anyway. But I got a really bad feeling in my bones. I'm seeing the same thing done here that destabilized every other country, got the Civil War started there so we can move in. Because regardless of what the news has been saying, there's always look at, like the war I was in, Saddam Hussein supposedly attacked
Kuwait.
And then after you get over there, everything's blown to hell. You can't tell the difference of what's going on. You find out there's conflict going on, and the CIA and the United States has been behind the whole thing all the time and supporting one side and the other. And the way you find that out is you're getting fired at with your own weapons. The very same stuff that we trained with and everything in boot camp was kind of from the Vietnam era. And that's all the weapons and the equipment and starlight goggles and scopes and everything that we're finding on the enemy. They were supplied by us. Because hell, they couldn't stand up and fight unless they give them something to fight with. We gave them a reason to kill them. It's crazy. And it's the same damn thing just happened here. That's my opinion. I said, it's heartbreaking, man. It is. And it's not possible that this evil cannot prevail without so many people being stupid. And I used to feel bad for saying, it looks like 90% of people are just fucking stupid. I mean, you got to have airbags in cars and signs on shit that says don't fucking use a hairdryer in the shower. What is going on, man?
It's a
man.
delusion. It's a delusion. You know what it is. It's a delusion that.
I mean, pissed, man. All right, well, I'm got me bent out of shape pretty bad. And this shit, they announced that Biden and Trump. I could give a shit less about all that. I'm just sitting back. What breaks my heart's all these people buying it, man. You see these people mad. Went down to the gas station yesterday and got some diesel fuel for a daggone heater got it's down there, and boy, them people's fired up, man. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, that's war talk. Hell, they're talking about shooting people. That's what the conversation is to coffee pot now. They're ready. They have been for a long time. Just waiting on a reason, man. And like I said, I made my living working on guns and building guns and around them, and
still not official.
I'm not saying anything is, but we gotta. There are people in this country that own guns that shouldn't. Let me put it that way. I've been in this profession, and there are some people that are just looking for trouble, man. They watch too many damn movies or something. I don't know what's the matter with them. And I gotta kind of admit, I was like that until the military, and I got out of there. I searched for peace after that. After I got to see it, because I was a gun who son of a bitch. I mean, they got done with me in boot camp stuff, and then after I saw that, man, I was done with it. After I lived it, I was done with it, and it didn't resolve shit. It never does. And like I said, man, fighting for peace is like fucking for virginity, man.
Yeah.
No, I'll shut up now. I'll let somebody else have it. I've run my mouth long enough. I'm mad.
Well,
Oh.
Go ahead, Roger. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that it's not official yet. It's Associated Press that announced it. The board hasn't, but I'm
NBC and others have jumped on it, though. I mean, they're gonna ride it out.
Yeah, no, I get that. The masses are believing that it's called for real. It's called.
Yeah. Yep. But you see my title. It says the MSM is saying, mainstream media. So.
Oh, sorry, Tommy. No, I did not read your title. Sorry.
Anyway, thanks for being here, everybody. Kelly, Effie, Rachel from New York, and Robert. Ali, let's see. We got Joe Dirt in the house. Scott Watts, Barry Ross, Bolt Gun, of course. Dean HD, Alex T, Zebzo, many others. David Reif in the house. Hey. Good to see you, David. Sorry I missed you earlier. Chris from South Jersey and so on. D-Bird. Yeah.
Hey,
Vicky Fry.
I tried to get into my 24-hour or 25-hour stream, and they won't let me in. The video's not blocked, but it hasn't
finished processing. Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been released yet, and I'm like, what in the hell? Are they?
It'll take a while. Yeah.
Are they gonna try some reason to block or something?
Nah, it just takes longer because that's so long. You'll be all right. It'll be there.
I was gonna say that fucking 25-hour stream better not be for naught.
Yeah, well, now you should have downloaded it though. When you were in StreamYard, you could go up there and click and after the show and hit the download, and it would download it in 10, 20, 30 minutes, whatever your your speed. But and then you would have it in your computer. That's what I do to my important shows because I want to make sure I have a copy. But you can also do it easily from YouTube too with a downloader. Anyway, David Reif is joining us. We'll see what he's got to say.
Hey everybody. Yeah, you hear me all right?
Yep. You sound good.
Oh man, it's good to finally talk to you guys. Man, this is crazy what's going on. It's what Bolgon was saying. Everybody's ready for war. They've been gassing us up this whole year, dehumanizing everybody with the mask, and then amping everybody up so they fight with each other. It's exactly what they want. And what scares me is that everybody thinks they're right. Everybody's the good guy in their own story, and everybody voting for Biden thinks that the Trump people are evil, and everybody for Trump thinks Biden people are evil. And like the few of us that see the truth, well, I mean, we can't be heard over all the yelling.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But once it all settles down, if it doesn't go to a civil war, I'm kind of with Rachel on that. That everybody's too lazy. But you never know. But I think that once people calm down and accept it either way, there are going to be a lot of people that wake up from that, because they're going to go, oh, the heck with the stupid politics. It's corrupt. It's fraud. It's fraudulent. All this, that, and the other. And so we're going to see an increase. Mark my words, that we will see a considerable increase of people in our coming to our community for answers shortly. I do see that coming.
I feel the same way. What worries me is that with all the censorship that's amping up at the same time, that whenever it comes down to it, all they got to do is cut off the internet, cut off the power, and we won't be able to reach out to each other. I mean, we got each other's emails and stuff, but like if that,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
all the way across Florida, we're separated.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's why I always stress to people, now, recently and for sure, now, that, we need to prepare for the worst and hope, wish for the best. But, if there isn't enough signs right now for people to know that something, is coming, a climax is coming, the very end of the church age is coming, so it's not going to hurt you to prep, yourself, your mind, your spirit, and maybe even prep your, some stuff to survive, whatever. I guarantee you there's going to be a run on the stores, in the next couple of days, because people don't know what's going to happen. So, I'm thinking about myself. What do I need to go get from the store? People are predicting another toilet paper run, and stuff. Well, it might be a everything run. Of course, guns and ammo are going to go up, even more than they have, but that doesn't mean that everybody's going to load up and go, out with them neither. But still, people are going to try to defend their homes when people come, hungry. But and I'm not trying to be doom and gloom here and say, for sure this is what's going to happen. But it certainly looks like a lot of people are going to wake up, and not everybody that wakes up, it is peaceful. So there's that. We're guilty of having thoughts of wanting to, hurt some of these evil people ourselves, so but we need to fight with the missiles of truth. We need to fight with bullets of anything we can, but starting a war with these people, because there's nobody's going to benefit from a war, civil war. It got very nasty. Y'all should watch, some old Civil War footage and stuff, because you're already talking about you're taking away the power and the internet. So you might as well just say we're going back to Civil War times too, then, because it'll get like that real quick without power, because eventually you even lose your water, because the power controls the water system, and then we're not going to be able to call anybody for help or reach out to anybody for help when the internet's gone and all that's gone, telephones, you're gonna have to find somebody with a ham radio, but anyway, so they won't shut down the internet. Rachel says that they won't shut down the internet. It's a tool that they can use against us, easier to spread fear. Well, they might try to, they might continue to take us off of it, though, and that's a big thing. They might double up, triple up on their, effort to get truthers off, and they can block whoever they want. They can, pretty much block whoever they want to off of the internet and use it themselves, but they can do a one way. See, Obama made that possible. All the how they can emergency transmission or whatever. So, I mean, they can keep on pumping in their propaganda and lies and deception and stuff, even if they don't take the internet away or whatever. But, people are going to need to have generators, to keep their phones going, if that's what you're talking about there, they certainly have generators and stuff. So, anybody that does have their own power, when it hits the fan, will still be getting, propaganda and, whatever they want to fill your heads with, even during a emergency or civil war or whatever. There's so many possibilities. I've been saying that for a while, that anything's possible in the end times, and there is so many possibilities, different possibilities, different outcomes, different scenarios that could happen here now that such a shocking thing has happened. This is, like I said, most presidents we've ever had have had 2 terms. So I don't think it was going to be that huge of a shocker to people if Trump won this one. Even to the Democrats, but here we are. They're going to take it from him, and we got to see why are they doing that. Is it to accelerate the New World Order faster, or than Trump was doing it, or what? But it's going to get interesting to see how this plays out for sure. And I appreciate everyone that's here. And go ahead and
Awesome.
do whatever you want, guys. What's up?
Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I don't think it's any secret that it's all coming together at this time. Like with the show you did the other day with that Archbishop calling out Pope Francis or whatever his name is.
That was huge.
All time together. Yeah, huge. I've been trying to tell everybody about that, and it's going over their head. Like, you don't understand?
It is slowly getting out there, though. It is slowly getting out there. I don't think that, but see, that's the kind of things that those huge things that get put on the back burner or get hidden because of all this crap. See, so there's always something they're trying to keep the people from knowing that's going on, and so, like somebody said earlier, Tonette, I think it was, that, they did this on the weekend. Everything's timed perfectly, to their plan, to their, agenda, to their liking. So, it is, dude, I'm just telling you, things have just gotten interesting.
Yeah, they really have. Like, I couldn't believe with the Illuminati card game. Like, if you look at this Illuminati card game, it's like got the whole plan laid out. You know how to read it. And that's sketchy. That means they got this planned out 100 years in advance or however many years. More than this. It's like we're playing checkers and they're playing chess. And we got no idea. And we're just trying to play catch up. Did you guys hear what's going on in Guatemala? I know, in Guatemala, the hurricane that just hit.
No, I don't know. Maybe I saw something on it, but what's going on?
Keep your prayers with the people. I run a tree service down here, and my farmer, his father and his brother, and just their whole family home, like was on the side of a mountain, and a mudslide just washed it away. Like his whole house, there's so many people dead, dying.
Wow.
And the same hurricane that's hitting us today. I'm actually going to have to go get water and toilet paper and all that soon here too, because there's already saying there's going to be shortages with the election and the hurricane. So just keep your prayers with them, man. He's distraught. We had to call off work Friday. It's just horrible. I feel so bad for him. Keep him in your prayers.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad, and we hope that. What's the speed of what's the update on the hurricane? Is it just a 1 or something?
It's just a tropical storm now.
Oh, okay.
But with all the damage and stuff, and people are so tense. Like people around here acting like it was last year when we thought Dorian was going to hit us.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. You know how people in Florida are. A hurricane, might as well be a thunderstorm. But they're acting off. I think because of the tension in the air,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, we're definitely praying for them, and you be safe too, even though it's just a tropical storm. Is there a chance of it increasing to back up to a hurricane or anything?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, look at
When's it supposed to hit? When's it supposed to hit you?
Oh, it's tomorrow. I'm in West Palm, so it'll be here. And it's already windy as can be outside and just dreary. The wind's been blowing hard for days. And it's supposed to get real bad like Sunday night. They're saying for everybody to stay inside.
Yeah. Is it a rain event too? It's got a lot of rain, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of rain. That's what happened in Guatemala. The side of the mountain just got so saturated, it just the whole side just walled off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's going to be a wet, cold winter. So there's that.
Oh yeah. Did you watch Secrets of Saturn? What was it, last night? They're talking about the dark winter thing.
No, but a lot of people are using that term, dark winter. I've seen it a lot. So
I was looking into it, man. It's a game plan, all right.
Yeah. Well, they are perfecting their playing God routine with the weather. So they've been working on owning the weather for a long time, for decades, and they're getting there.
Yeah, they definitely are. And Operation Dark Winter talks about a smallpox biological attack and how they're going to implement National Guard and FEMA and all that. And it was weird that in that speech Joe Biden said dark winter back to back, like it was nearly back to back, and it was really unusual. I mean, you can't put it past Sleepy Joe just to be, repeating his lines, but it was really unusual. It's a good episode. If you guys didn't catch it, you should. The Secrets of Saturn, the last one they did.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, I will definitely. I'm subscribed. I just don't remember seeing the notification for it, but I might have been on. I might have been online I was on Patrick's show for a few hours last night. So, anybody else want to chime in? Bolt Gun, you've calmed down a little bit. Do you want to say anything else about any of the stuff?
Guess they walked away.
Yeah, you guys hear me?
He said, "Yeah, I can hear you, brother. Yeah, go ahead."
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have cooled off before I got on there first time. Lady come out, but I'll apologize to everybody. But yeah, like I said, that's just in my opinion what's going on. I've seen it before, man, and as a kid, I heard my dad talk about it, and when you see things in the turmoil and destabilized like it is, and they're I already had a couple of people telling me here that, if I'm going to go get ammo or anything like that, I'm in Southern Ohio, that everything's out there. Everybody's already bought everything out. I know when that COVID first hit, everything sold out. I mean, guns. There wasn't, you go in all the sporting places around here, and they were empty. I mean, I never seen anything like it, and I guess it's happening again. I don't know. Me and my wife, I hope everyone out there's taking this serious, making preparations. I'm not talking about the
war preparations.
The times that we're in, take it serious and get ready. And the most important thing, these are just my life experiences. And I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years, and I live kind of a wild life. It's your attitude. Man, you can have all the guns, you can have all the ammo, knives, you can have all the knowledge, everything. And if you haven't found God and here's your Savior in Christ and true love, and understand what's going around you, you're going to do things wrong, and you're going to lead yourself to total destruction.
Yeah. Yep.
With the very things you surrounded yourself with. Yeah. So, just my advice, your attitude, and man, you hit your knees and then put everything you do for God. Ask Him to empower you to do the right things, He says, one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life is to let no man deceive you. And I went in the military deceived. And I came out of there enlightened and later on woke. And would have got on my knees before God, I'd have never been in that situation.
Yeah.
And I'm not making that mistake again. And I feel that's the most important thing I've got to offer. Just make sure that you run everything that you're getting ready to do before God, and these next few days, you just make sure you're on your knees begging Him to guide you and to forgive you and to enrich your life as much as you can. Just man, one here. And thank you guys, man. I love y'all. Tommy, thanks for all your time, the trouble you go through on this channel, and I'm glad you kept it going, man. I'm glad you didn't shut it down.
Well, actually, brother, thank you. You're welcome, brother.
Love you guys.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Actually, this channel hasn't been any trouble at all. The backup, I mean, that's what's so weird is that, they beat me up on my main channel, but it's the same content, man. So it just, I got on their list with my main one, and once you're on their hit list, they're gonna just keep on pounding on you. But yeah, I'm blessed with this backup channel, because the few hundred people that have come over here so far. 200, 300, it's like 200-300. I can't even remember, but have been very, very good and very like-minded, and and some of my most all my saves from our community are have come over, come in and out. But so I'm even if I don't get my main channel back. Who knows? Maybe I'll stay. I said that, if I don't get the main, if they take my main off completely, that I would leave. But, who knows? I'm just going to, go with the flow at this point. You guys are very important to me. And, we've all come to lean on each other, be able to lean on each other and, gather encouragement when we need it, and advice and insight and wisdom. And, we're definitely, all trying to make a difference in others' lives. It's very easy to see that we all care. We and I only share because I care. I'm glad that so many people.
I hope you realize.
What's that? I guess you broke up.
I hope you realize the importance of what you've done with having a channel and doing such a job.
I just do I'm just trying to do whatever pleases God, and and I don't want to be a hypocrite. So that's why I'm such an open book with you guys. I have definitely shed a bunch of my crutches, favorite sins, if you will, but I'm still a sinner. I'm never going to be perfect unless God makes us perfect someday or whatever. But in afterwards. But I just want to please God more than myself, and I genuinely care about good people. Not choosing the wrong side, and so I didn't ask to be red pilled 28 years ago. I've said this, I didn't ask to be sit down and told all about this new world order, one world order thing, and my life could be totally different, than it is today. But that man did sit us down and tell us, and he was an atheist, so he didn't, he wasn't trying to warn us as far as anything biblical. He was just trying to tell us that the new world order was coming someday, and what their plans were, and I've said this before too, that he definitely paid dearly for for telling us what he told us, and who knows who else he told, but whatever, he did, the beast system did not like what he did. And so for 28 years, I have been saying, down with the New World Order, or just say no to the NWO and things like that, and telling people that would listen for all that time, that a day like this it was coming, and a season like this. So I'm just trying to do what is best and for everyone, and be my best. So that's all I'm going to continue to do, and encourage everyone to repent, prepare, watch, and share the truth until the end. And no fear, have no fear, except for what God could do to you if you choose to be loyal to the beast system, because he's not going to like that. So don't take the vaccine or mark of the beast or, any of that stuff. And just expose any and all tyranny and evil. That's what we're supposed to do, is shine the light on the dark. And God will handle it, but we are supposed to shine the light on it and say, hey, that's evil right there. We don't have to go around calling out everybody's sins. We're not talking about that. We're talking about evil. And these world leaders have a lot of evil agendas and plans to enslave us all fully, if they are allowed to, if they can get away with it. All right, so who do we lose? We lost Bolt Gun and Patrick. Yep. All right. Well, thanks for being here, guys. Voynich, you got anything you want to comment at this point? You've been quiet for a while.
Yeah, I've been quiet for a while. Yeah. No. I'm amazed that it's not Trump, but I'm already over it, actually,
Yeah.
It was half an hour, I was amazed, and now I'm like, yeah, okay.
Let's just peek at what they're saying now too, because it's been a while since we actually looked, and see how many more news stations have come on board or whatever, or if they're retracting any of it, or anything, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I hear you. I don't need to. I don't. It's not going to change too much. But at least for me. But it. Now the only thing it could change is the civil unrest in this country, and then I might have to deal with that quicker than I thought. Washington, D.C. crowd there. Indianapolis, Indiana. Those are Trump people. Up in the top right corner, they're showing Trump supporters. 290 to 214 is what USA Today is saying. This is their YouTube channel. 290 to 214. What? Wow.
Yeah, but, that Biden would win. Swah. Okay, that could be the case, but with a landslide like this, it's really, really very peculiar, to say the least.
Yeah, I don't buy it either. I don't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? It shouldn't matter too much to us, but we do still need to keep an eye on what these Trump and Biden lovers are going to do, and next, and so that could affect us. But we're still not going to live in fear, and we know that it's only going to be a short time that the evil people have the upper hand, if you will, if they do get it.
Yeah, that's the truth. Only for a short time. I think your timeline's pretty close to being right, Tommy. I can't find anything wrong with it. The 2028.
Yeah, 21 to 28, 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like things are ramping up for that. Exactly that. You don't have to be a Nostradamus to figure that one out.
Right. I mean, really, then you look at, like I said, you look at the Bible and what it talks about Israel. 48 to 28 is 80 years, and that's what it says will have is 80 years max. So, I mean, come on, man.
When you look at Amos 8, it's that why would the Bible be changing right now all of a sudden at the same time? All of us waking up all at the same time. In 2015, I was a militant atheist, Democrat. Like I was all the way in there, brother. Like completely turned around. So it's like he's waking up people from the delusion and he's putting it on other people. And there's no way for us to make any sense of it. If you talked to me 6 years ago, woo-wee, I was bought and sold for the other side.
Right. Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, he will help people through dark times and then make them into a very bright, shining, great individual. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. You need some inspiration, you should read the Bible. Look at every one of them. Whew, none of them was perfect. Killers, murderers, adulterers.
Right.
He uses the weak things to shame the strong. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but you know what I mean.
Well, see, yeah, but now we are moving into, if we are going into tribulation period, you're going to have people that will be 100 or 1,000% loyal to the beast system. So at that point, it's pretty much done. They have picked their side and they're going to the grave. Fighting for the devil. So, but yeah, right now there's still people on the fence that can come down and get right and try to get on that righteous path. That narrow path. The time for that is well, I mean, it's running out too. But there will be tribulation saints. It says that don't take the mark of the beast. Most will lose their heads, if not all, whatever. But that's still better than giving into a beast system and being enslaved fully. But
I knew the week of the terrors was when they shut down all the churches, and there was like minimal outcry. All these people who go to church every Sunday and they just say shut down. I was like, aren't you depending on Jesus for your protection? I couldn't believe it. I mean, it never would have happened 10 years ago. Being able to shut down all the churches. That's what was really the kicker for me.
I would say more like 20 years ago. 10 years ago, I don't know. 20 years,
yeah,
yes.
You're right. It's always 1990 in my head. You're right. Yeah, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Back when I was a kid going to Sunday school, they wasn't able to get away with that.
So are these all Trump supporters? Both ones we're looking at here? I wonder. In Washington D.C. and Indiana. Yeah, I think that was. But
You guys think it was unusual that they Fox News jumped off the Trump bandwagon so soon?
I don't know, but yeah, maybe a tiny bit. But I never watched them neither. So
I know. I just catch all my news from Pockets of the Future. That's the closest thing I watch to mainstream news.
Look, Joseph R. Biden will be the 46th
Biden's ability to get the
president. They had a banner.
Put it that way.
We're showing you images that are coming into our newsroom from around the country, from Lafayette Park in Washington, D.C., and Harrisburg in Pennsylvania. Those are some Trump supporters.
What a fucking shit show.
Let's go to Kristen Walker. She's at Biden headquarters getting reaction. And we mentioned, Kristen, already that Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, has reached out to Joe Biden, the president-elect. What else are you hearing?
Let me read you what we're hearing from Justin Trudeau, and then let's talk about the broader context of how the world is reacting. Savannah, Justin Trudeau, congratulations to Biden and Kamala Harris. Our two countries are close friends, partners, and allies. We share a relationship that's unique on the world stage. I'm really looking forward to working together and building on that with both of you. Look, President Trump was someone who ran on an America First foreign policy, and that is how he governed. And so some of America's traditional relationships with its foreign allies have been strained throughout the Trump administration, something that he would acknowledge and felt quite proud of. Frankly, he pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement. He pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal. These are things that Joe Biden has said he wants to rejoin. He said he wants to negotiate a better Iran nuclear deal. But just to give you a sense, and think about NATO. President Trump had a number of NATO summits which were quite tense at times. You'll recall that one moment where you had several world leaders who were talking about the president behind his back, mocking him. That was caught on camera.
Hey guys, I got to take off and get to the store. It was good chatting with you guys. I hope you have a great day. I love you guys, and we'll catch you later.
See you, David. See you later. Have a good day, man.
Maybe you could begin to let it out. No, this isn't over yet. The votes are being counted. Not as fast as we want, but democracy is working. We're proving once again that it is our voices that count.
White sandy beaches, crystal blue water. How incredible is that? We only get one shot at making the first impression. I'm here to work, or you will be gone.
Woo! Yeah! Woo!
Oh, that one's not live anymore.
Woo!
Okay, what's going on? Let's see. Are they saying no more years? Okay, well. Internet's sucking at the moment. We still live?
We're still live.
Okay.
Confirmative.
Hang on. I'm trying to see what's going on. Oh boy. Get rid of that. Yeah. They're like, oh, Biden's in. We can throttle back the internet now. Come on. You can do it, YouTube. Only one person live. The script continues for what some might call a dark winter. Well, I guess we'll watch that. Man, everybody's using that term now. For real. Dark winter. Dark winter.
I don't see it coming. It's not going to be cold winter. I don't think it's going to be much cold. Well, at least not in this area. But it might be. I never know.
my
I
goodness.
just want to conclude by saying this. We need the scientists and we need the public health experts. We need to scale up the testing, the contact tracing, the treatment.
That people in this kind of positions are willing to speak with a mask on. I mean, it's
yeah, listen to what he's saying, though. It's only
we need to
20
scale
seconds
up
long.
the testing, the contact tracing, the treatment. This is going to be, unfortunately, is likely to be a dark winter. And it just doesn't make any sense for the president to use this short time that he still has left to undermine the national response. It's also an insult to these civil servants.
Dark winter. Well, not much else is being said, I guess. This is crazy by anybody that I'm subscribed to.
Yeah, but this shit show isn't over, man. I mean, this is gonna drag on. It's not like it's over now. I don't, but it might be. It might be. I don't know. But yeah, it's still weird. It's pretty weird. I think he can't believe it himself either. Joe himself.
So I think he's going to have to make his offense his defense every step along the way, and do not do what most people criticize the Obama administration for doing.
8 p.m. Joe Biden and Kamala will address the
this administration. But Joe
nation.
Biden also is going to have to make certain that he keeps his promises to the American people, because part of the reason why Barack Obama was elected, because they were
How the fuck do you dance the funky chicken when some president wins? Why do you think you can dance the
after the Obama administration? Joe Biden is a
crazy
frustration from the American people from the Trump
Washington
administration.
Square Park
So he's going
in
to keep his promise
New York
and
City.
make people believe and show them that government can work, will work, and should work for them.
Sheesh. Look at the zombies.
Wow,
We are seeing all of these excited.
and what's that square that they're at? Black Lives Matter Square?
Yeah.
The coronavirus
It's the name of the
pandemic
square, right?
we are seeing masks, but there is no social distancing in this.
No social distancing.
I want to stay with you for one more moment on the point that you were making about speaking loudly about their wins. And in reality, Republicans didn't do so poorly in this election cycle. Sure, they lost the presidency. That's the big prize. But it looks likely that they're going to maintain their majority in the Senate. That's still a question mark, but things are looking much better for them than Democrats had projected. And they did, in fact, pick up seats in the House. So what does it say then about Joe Biden's mandate?
Well, it says that the American people spoke. They just spoke in different languages. They spoke in the language that the Republicans should maintain their majority in the Senate, but they also spoke loudly about the Democrats maintaining their majority in the House and Joe Biden being the president. No one expected that to happen, including Republican consultants inside the D.C. Beltway. However, I do believe that this puts pressure on Democrats and Republicans to work together to get something done from a policy standpoint. And I think that will determine what the midterm elections look like for all of us. I think that most of us underestimated the fuel that will come with the Donald Trump supporters, particularly in places where Democrats won in 2018 and we lost in 2016. However, we still maintain our majority. We still accomplished goal number one, and that's removing the president. And I think the story has yet to be told about what will happen in the Senate, because on January 5th, once again, Georgia, it will be on everybody's mind. And most people will be taking that midnight train to Georgia to figure out what those results are going to be about the 2 U.S. Senate races that will be on the ballot. And you cannot forget that it was black voters in Georgia that got Joe Biden across the finish line. And I am
they want their credit.
If turnout is anywhere close to what it was in this presidential election, that we will have 2 Democratic senators from the state of Georgia.
That's an optimistic projection there, Antoine. But there were major losses. Democrats thought they were going to win Joni Ernst's seat in Iowa with Teresa Greenfeld. They thought that Senator Lindsey Graham was going to lose his seat in South Carolina. They felt all of you Democrats felt very good about the prospects of seats that you were trounced in. Does that say, though, anything about what it's going to... Sorry, go ahead. You're ready to jump in. Go for it, Antoine.
Yeah, so Lana, look, you and I've said this on this network several times. I've gotten off the polar coaster a long time ago because I know polls are only a snapshot of the time, and they do not tell you the full story of what the end result is going to be. However, the one thing that was so strange about this cycle is that the same information that Democrats were using as their North Star was the same information that Republicans were using as their North Star. Now, you will have some Republicans who will try to take credit and say they knew this was going to happen all along, but no, they would be lying. In fact, they would be bojangling you if someone told you that right here today, because no one expected that. Remember, in the House, it was Republicans already making plans to throw out Kevin McCarthy as the minority leader. So they did not expect to win some of those seats. And the Republicans would not have put the resources in a place like South Carolina and North Carolina and some of these places if they thought there was going to be a smooth sail across the finish line with some of these Senate seats. And so the environment just did not respond to what the survey told us it was going to be. However, I do not think that we should throw out this idea that taking the temperature of the American people to decide what's important is a bad thing. I think how we do that is going to look different. And I think there will be a lot of distrust in polling and surveying. And there's going to have to be some recalibration on what that looks like. But no one expected this moment to happen. And that's why I've been very cautious. And I learned a long time ago in this business, you always have to under-promise and over-deliver. Because when you become bullish on what the results are going to be and it does not fan out that way, people lose trust in you and your ability to deliver a service.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, Antoine, that polls are not static; they are a snapshot. And as soon as we have gotten those polls, something else has changed in the news cycle, and Americans' feelings may have changed. But Leslie, there is some ways in which Republicans are really upset about how things turned out. To stick with the Senate line,
garbage. Free Mac. Oh, is this a song? Ha Woo!
Would you wonder just what he did? He stuck up for his right to live and breathe. Didn't comply with some government shit. And you set fear to control us sheep. What people will believe is quite insane. But this guy's in jail for standing up for truth. Ladder Blocker is his name.
Woo! Ladder Blocker is his name. Christian Nap. If you don't like him, you probably just need to take a nap or a massive crap.
He's the face of resistance. right through this COVID hoax. But they want to make an example of him. Well, that's gonna do just whatever it takes to make sure these bastards never win. Oh no, these bastards are never gonna win. These bastards are never gonna win.
Never gonna win.
We love you, man.
Woohoo! Thank you, Kristen Knapp. Thank you, Mac. Wow. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's the best news from the last few days, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Woo! Let's see. It's not the globe, man. It's not the globe.
Forced into my mind this made up globe. Now I've set free my mind. I let it go. If this life should last forever, at least we are together. I know I'm not alone. We know
it's not the globe.
Anywhere, whenever, apart but still together. I know I'm not alone. We know it's not a globe. It's not a globe. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. No, it's not a globe. Spinning ball Earth. I now know that you're fake. Deceived since birth. I'm no longer being played. If this life should last forever, at least we are together. I know I'm not alone. We know it's not a globe. Anywhere, whenever, apart but still together. I know I'm not alone. We know it's not a globe. It's
Not a globe.
I'm not alone. I'm
Not alone.
We know it's not a globe. Not alone. Alone. Not alone. I'm not alone. Not alone. Not alone. We know it's not a globe. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
We know it's not a globe.
Oh, man.
Why did you stop that?
Because I was looking for COVID is a lie.
Ah.
But, yeah.
Oh, but that one has been deleted from his channel. You can only find that.
Yeah, it's on Brian's, huh?
Yeah.
If it's still there, even. So, let's see. Still nothing. All right. Well, let's listen to these fools for a minute.
Real here, and despite this current president, President Trump, losing this election and having to vacate the White House, and this being a very clear referendum on the president, Trumpism is still well and alive. And while I think a lot of never Trump Republicans think that there's going to be a lot of soul searching and potentially a facelift of the Republican Party, Trump and pro-Trump voices are not going anywhere. If you look at what Joe Biden is facing. This is going to be President Trump still tweeting incessantly, applying pressure onto Republicans via his Twitter feed, via his son, via Ivanka Trump, all of these people, these pro-Trump people and his own blood who have their own political aspirations, and potentially threatening fundraising opportunities.
If you think that Joey Rocha is crying at the moment, press one.
Essentially in 2024, needs to come to the ground to the defense of his father. So I don't think that as much as Joe Biden campaigned on bipartisanship, being able to forge relationships, that might be true, but our country is still really polarized, and that is reflective in, I think, a lot of the results that we're seeing right now.
Jackie, I want to stay with you on this thread for a second, because I'm curious about your thoughts on who might be the head of the Republican Party come January. Is it President Trump, or former President Trump then, who's no longer in office? Is it Mitch McConnell?
We'll go check on the yard sale real quick. I'll be right back, okay?
Yeah, that's okay, man.
Ronna McDaniel as the RNC chair, or somebody else entirely? Where will Republicans be getting their guidance?
That's a really good question, and it's what we're all going to have eyes on. I spent the last month doing a lot of reporting, calling around and trying to sort of pan out in the scenario that the president lost this election, where things would go. It sort of initially led me to this big deep dive we did on Trump staffers being able to find jobs in a post-Trump presidency. And my findings there were that they were going to have a tough time if they had put their name on any statements, that inflammatory statements in relation to immigration, or some of the more racist statements that the president has put out, quite frankly. And from there, it sort of segued into, what questions are Republicans going to be asking themselves and each other when it comes to hiring and making all of these big transitions and shifts from the White House to the party out of power, and now potentially out of power in the Senate as well, TBD. But I do think, again, that it's naive to think
clouding up out there. I got to make sure it ain't going to rain.
Is going to once again conduct an extensive autopsy that's going to, I think, cure all of the ails that people might not be that comfortable with. At the end of the day, this president did receive an extraordinary amount of votes in the popular vote, and again, the hallmark of the Trump presidency is just how much all other Republicans have
20% chance of rain till 4.
And we haven't even seen now the voices being that loud coming out. You have the Mitt Romneys of the world who put out milquetoast statements, written statements every once in a while. But, Mitt Romney has tried to run for the head of the Republican Party time and time again. And, the people have not wanted that quite, as we've seen from the election results. So I think, for now, I think it's a safe assumption that Trump is still going to be a large presence. And it remains to be seen who might, come out from behind him. If there are the Nikki Haley's, the Mike Pompeos of the world, people with political aspirations, but you're already seeing them cozy up to President Trump, put out tweets here and there in support of the president's allegations of voter fraud that are unsubstantiated.
74 here, 74 here, Rachel, and feels like 74.
So I think we'll continue to see
only 2 degrees difference from New York to Florida.
I want to dig in deeper with you, Jackie, on the 2 Senate races in Georgia. While the die has been cast and CBS News is now projecting that Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States, there is still a question mark when it comes to control of the U.S. Senate, and we won't know that outcome until January. Talk to our voters a little bit about what's going on in Georgia. How about a refresher course as more attention is potentially turned towards the Senate? Why is there going to be this runoff? Why are 2 seats up for consideration?
35. No,
why
can't
does
do that.
The entire control of the Senate, that entire chamber, rest on Georgia now?
Yeah, so I was actually in Georgia in the lead up to Election Day. It was a fascinating week on the ground, and the excitement from Democrats was palpable. From the bottom of the ticket, from some House and state candidates, hyper-local candidates that I chatted organizers with, to the top of the ticket, to former Vice President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I did spend some time with door knockers and canvassers who are working for Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, who is challenging Kelly Loeffler, and Jon John Ossoff obviously is running against Senator David Perdue, and Loeffler and Perdue had taken a nosedive in the final weeks, months of the campaign. They were dragged down by President Trump, and quite frankly, what Republican strategists told me is that they expected this to happen. It's sort of a confluence of things taking place in Georgia. It's this is the result of changing demographics that has been happening for years now. The Black population in the state is growing at a very fast clip, along with the Asian American population. There's also been a lot of migration from Northerners who have come down and really changed the political composition of the state. There's also the fact that Stacey Abrams, ran in 2018. She lost in an election against Brian Kemp that a lot of people still feel like was stolen from her, and created 3 different organizations directed towards voter turnout, registration, and helping underserved communities. Every single voter I spoke with, Republicans and Democrats, credited Abrams with the groundswell that they were seeing. But the person who really kicked this off was John Ossoff, and that's where I think it's impossible to miss the poetic justice that we're seeing at the moment. The resistance started with John Ossoff, and now it might very well end with John Ossoff. When he ran in the special election runoff in 2016, he really created a lot of energy and attention. He was sort of the Beto O'Rourke pre-Beto. The amount of money and excitement that he brought into the state, I think, really revitalized this feeling that Democrats could potentially take it back for the first time since 1992, which was when Bill Clinton won it. I already, every single campaign staffer, Democratic ones that I've spoken.
They're so happy, man. Are you happy for them?
Incredible, man. Incredible. Happy mask. Happy and masked.
Yeah.
You say this shit is gonna get worse and worse in the next 8 years, right? That's your prediction, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Next 7 years is the tribulation period. The first 3.5, it just continues on like it is, and the 2 witnesses will be here witnessing to the whole earth, but especially to the Jews. I'm gonna drop the link again. Anybody else want to join us for a minute or whatever length of time you want? Say what you want about this madness, this mad world. Oh, that's not it. I gotta get the link again. The Musketeers, the Flunatics, the Covidiots. Oh my.
Sure live enough of them motherfuckers.
Why? Here we go back. Yeah, Biden's like, yeah, I make everybody's internet crappy now. What in the world, Craig? This is ridiculous.
So have you read Zepto's comment?
Yeah.
A more stable situation.
Is what coming?
In Washington, D.C.
Zepto.
Huh?
He asks you about the two witnesses. What do you think about the two witnesses?
They're whoever it is that hasn't died, that was just ascended to heaven. Some say Elijah and Moses, or this, that, and the other. Whatever. It's whoever God's going to send down to be the two witnesses, and minister to everyone as the last hope of getting people right. Hi, Joe Dirt. If you're in,
hey, what's up?
I tried to.
Hey, Joe.
Trying to add Joe Dirt to the stream.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Man, they are doing something to my internet. I mean, obviously, this is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, you got like squirrels chipping in the background.
Oh well, that's normal with this old laptop. Yeah, if you hear the little chirping, yeah, that's just this thing laptop. My other laptop, I think, was under attack and got a virus or something. I don't know, man. It's not good. Get it looked at or something. So what's up with your bolt gun? You haven't. What you say? I say.
Not too much, eh? Only got a few minutes here, but I had to take off and drive down the road. I'll tell you what, this stuff's pretty whack, man. It's like total shit, I think. Right in front of your face even, you gotta love it when they screw you. They look you right in the eye and say, I love you, Oh, man, I don't even know what to think of that shit. But
Rick
anyway,
Swain is in the house. Sorry. Yeah,
I'm gonna take off though, guys. But
well, yeah, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Appreciate you doing that, and hang in there, brother, man. Don't get too.
I'll be back in a couple hours.
All right, don't get too. Yeah, what?
Yeah, it's deer hunting season, and I got a bunch of people on the back 80 right there, so I got to fucking cruise down there and kick them all off, figure out who the hell they are.
Right. Wow.
Every fucking year, man, it's unreal. It's like I'm in the middle of nowhere. Where the hell you guys come from?
Right. The CIA. The FBI, the CIA. I don't know.
So, I'll have you in my back pocket. I'll be listening in, but I won't be typing or nothing anymore. So I just wanted to tell you, I gave you my thoughts. I think they looked me right in the eye and said, I love you, as they slid it in.
Yeah.
And they didn't even give me a reach around.
Right.
It's
Yep.
fucked
So
up.
people have to learn these lessons, and it's just a good reminder that we can't put our faith in men. We got to put our faith in God and Jesus. So.
Well, the worst part is the last 2 weeks, we knew this would happen. It was written on the wall in a day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
It's really no surprise. They told you.
Yeah. All right, brother, man. Well, you're breaking up on us, so yeah. Hit us back up later when you get clear.
Yep.
Yeah, hit us back up. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. So, wow. Yeah, he feels, like he was taken advantage of or whatever. His vote doesn't count, and that's the way it goes. That's just the way it goes when you try to participate in their dog and pony crap show game. They will stick it in you. All right. How about your channel, Voynich? What does he mean?
Yeah, well, it hasn't started up yet. It will start up tomorrow, but I haven't bought my StreamYard subscription again because I canceled it. So I should start it again.
Yeah, I mean, you could go a little while using the other one if you don't want.
Yeah, but I already used that up. So.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I'm definitely, that'll be the last thing I cut off because I even if I get mad, but because I definitely want the ability to go live and do as long as I want so. I'll keep the lives. I'll keep the StreamYard until it hits the fan or whatever, and I can't go no more. Whatever. But I do need to still figure out how to go live on D Live. Do both. Do YouTube and D Live at the same time. That'd be nice.
I think you were on D Live already. I was on D Live. I was streaming.
I haven't done a show on there yet. No, I have. a few people following me, but I have never done one yet on there. No. Oh me. And then there's brand new Tube. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
That's supposed to be for truthers and yeah. So
that's pretty cool too. And 3Speak is also pretty good.
What is it?
3Speak. So 1, 2, 3 speak. Haven't you heard about that one yet?
No, not that one. I got to go down at some point and let my sister's cat out of the house because she's working and left her cat in the house. But I got my yard sale to watch too, so it's like, but nobody's come in the last couple hours, or it's since one person since they announced that Joe Biden, is winning, won it, whatever, and it's like nobody wants to spend no money now, not on yard sale stuff. They're like, unless I got guns, yeah. Oh jeez, but
saving that money for preparations, right?
Yeah, I think so. Oh boy. So, anybody else want to join in? I'm going to post the link one more time.
Yeah, somebody join in.
I'm going to go to 3 hours. That's 33 minutes from now. If something changes, I might go longer. But I mean, right now I'm going to go for 3. And then see what happens. Yes. So let's see, what do we want to check out now? Let me see what else is going on. Let me go ahead and screen share before I forget not to. And Rick Swain, feeling no pain, is wanting to come on in. Let's see what we can do about that. Hello, Rick Swine.
What's happening, people?
Howdy.
I am just waking up.
I knew it. I knew it.
Well, good morning.
Yeah.
Good
afternoon.
And good afternoon.
Yeah.
So, are you happy about your new president?
Yeah. No, not really. You know what it reminds me of, and somebody said it too, and on a video. Once bitten, twice shy. Biden is like the snake now. Once Biden, twice shy.
All right.
It's kind of been stick up, I think. And now they'll probably be with me for 4 fucking years. I don't think he'll make it through 4 years, though. If we make it through 4 years.
Right?
Right.
Time will tell. It always does.
Well, time keeps on slipping into the future.
Into the future.
Yeah.
And slipping pretty fast lately. I mean, this year was like a breeze.
Yeah, it did. It fucking went so quick, man.
Blew by.
Producing all cam.
Now, I guess we got a new date that we got to kind of look for now. Richie from Boston threw up The Simpsons when it was in an apocalypse, like everybody's wearing a mask and they're voting in The Simpsons and they're wearing masks in The Simpsons. And the one date they throw up is where Homer's sitting on top of his roof with a shotgun, dressed all in armor and everything. And it's July 21st, 2020.
Wow.
So I think that's like maybe something will happen on that. You know, who knows? But I mean, it is. You know, it's The Simpsons, which they are very. They like predicting the future, right?
Yeah.
So it appears. Yes. Wow.
Well, if it's about Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia as well, and Arizona and Georgia still haven't been.
Like everything in that cartoon was happening now, you know, and
306.
And then they show that date.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure that was the date, July 21st.
Surely, then you can't fight on so many fronts from the president's point of view.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. He's said to be a bit unhappy with his legal team at the moment, and I think critics, as well as supporters, are worried that it looks like a confused message that he's pushing. Sometimes he's been saying stop the count when it's not working out for him in that state, and other ones keep counting in places where he has had a there's a whole kind of tapestry now of these lawsuits. Some are being rejected, some they're getting a bit of a stay of execution on. But you're not talking about big margins here, and that's the problem. None of these states or counties are reporting any evidence of widespread fraud in any way. In fact, quite the opposite. People are saying this has run very smoothly. Nevertheless, though, you have Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, saying on Monday this is going to really start heating up. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Yeah, we already did.
It's really simple.
Right.
You have nothing to hide with these mail-in ballots.
Yeah, and
inspection.
In this video too, The Simpsons,
common practice.
they show
absentee ballots.
not 4 horsemen, but the 3 horsemen riding, and they're holding flags. And the white horse has got pestilence, the black horse has got famine, and the red horse has got war. And then right after that, I think that's when they may show Homer.
Yeah.
And they got also like RoboCops in it, you know, and on the they got cops patrolling the streets. Well, machines patrolling the streets, and they say Homeland Security on it too. I'm fucking real, man.
Homeland Security is actually just translated from German Staatssicherheit. It's just SS.
Is it really?
Yeah. Staatssicherheit. SS. So.
Yeah, you know, I don't know who it was, but I've seen a video.
Same with Blackwater operations.
Really? Blackwater's SS too?
Yeah, that was Schwarzwasser.
What was I just going to say?
So that was also just translated. All these things are just translated from the Nazi regime.
Right. Oh, they were talking about how well the TSA work at the airports. You know, how like TSA agents are, 10 of them try to get by with a gun, and 9 of them get by. You know, they catch one. Now, this has been in effect since 2020, right? Well, I'm sorry. You're 2000, right? 2001.
Yep.
And today, let's just say 15 years, the company's been in, doing what they're doing. And they can only catch 1 out of 10 guns going by.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah. Now, this is going to be, the TSA is going to, they're going to expand in this new world order. The TSA is going to,
it's going to be the only job available. Snitch or soldier or a controller or
right, yeah, something like that.
That's the only job that will be available. Or security, whatever.
FEMA camp guard, yeah.
There wouldn't be no other job available. It would just be a job, whether you take out somebody or pick out somebody or transport somebody. There's not going to be any more jobs. The only job that's going to be there is just kill somebody.
Who wants to do a
or
job
take
like
care
that?
of the one that didn't get killed. That's the system. That's the only thing left. That's why everybody has to be poor, so people will be willing to do it.
Right.
It's the same
I
thing.
always feel like, who would want to be a prison guard, man? Who would want to be around thousands of people locked down all fucking day? I don't get it. Why would you want that job, man? Unless you like fucking with people that are down already.
Yeah.
You like kicking people when they're down, really?
Well, I tell you that when I see a person wearing that uniform, right, that says detention.
Right, yeah.
I'm
your
a
blues,
prison guard.
your oranges, whatever. Your suit.
I always react to that, man. Like, wow, that's your job, right? Keeping people inside. Wow, man. Something's seriously wrong with you. Yeah.
No. They like pushing people around. That's what it is. They like pushing people around. Plain and simple. Or they like seeing people in misery.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I am asking that if you can, in the description box, God bless.
I'm coming.
Welcome to the Watchman YouTube channel. This channel is all about world news and Bible prophecy, pointing to the soon return of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
President Trump and Joe Biden have dramatically different visions for the Middle East. Chris Mitchell takes a look at how the results of this election will impact this critical region of the world.
Both former Vice President Biden and the incumbent President Trump have stated what would be their policies for the coming 4 years. And in certain ways, they differ fundamentally, even dramatically.
Former ambassador to the U.S. Michael Oren believes a Biden administration would reverse certain Trump policies that benefit his country.
The main issue for Israelis is the future of the Iranian nuclear deal that the Obama administration forged in 2015. President Trump ended in 2018.
Both the former vice president and his running mate, Senator Harris, have said unequivocally that they intend to renew the Iran nuclear deal of 2015. If Iran returns to the levels of uranium enrichment established by that deal, it's not very difficult for Iran to do, and that means lifting sanctions, and that has profound ramifications for Israel and the Middle East.
Current Ambassador David Friedman tells CBN News renewing the deal would be a disaster.
Iran is a very dangerous country. We have made Iran far less dangerous than they were 4 years ago. The worst thing we can do right now when we have them on the ropes is to let the pressure off.
A recent poll shows more than 60% of Israelis would prefer a second Trump term.
Ayatollah.
Supporting the president point to decisions such as moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and the recent Abraham Accords.
Genesis 12:1-3. Now the Lord had said to Abram, get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great. And you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. God's foreign policy is pretty simple. If you bless Israel, you will be blessed. If you curse Israel, you will be cursed.
We discussed the aftermath of the presidential election and what impact it will have on
Hey, you know,
CBN senior editor John
I
Locke,
believe him.
Jerusalem.
Oh, that is. If that's it, you know, it's pretty simple.
What's that?
Pretty one-dimensional, right?
Yeah, well,
the Trump administration,
my way or the highway, right?
Joseph Biden administration have on Israel and the Middle East.
Yeah, this is one of the areas of the world, Chris, where the contrast is so stark, because President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu have launched this diplomatic initiative that's really transforming the Middle East with all the agreements with the Gulf states and now nations in Africa and Malawi getting ready to move its embassy to Jerusalem after the United States led with that with President Trump. I mean, this is a course on which they've been embarking for 3 years now. And to change that in midstream, remember, if there is a Biden administration, his administration is going to be under intense pressure to ratchet up the hostility toward Israel, certainly by his left flank.
I wonder what this relationship between Biden and
he's a friend of Israel.
Netanyahu.
Biden and Israel, like how?
Yeah, Netanyahu. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. It's not good. They'll try to
undo everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, but that's I don't feel sorry for them anyway, because they are going to be fooled by the Antichrist anyway. Most of them. So and they're trying to implement the Noahide laws. I don't know where the Democrats stand on the Noahide laws. But
they're probably right with it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But when you get down to policy, that policy is likely to be dictated by Biden's left flank. And so the stakes are really high for Israel and for all these nations that have embarked on this new course in the Middle East.
In the last days, Jerusalem will be the focal point of world politics, as we read in Zechariah 12:2-3. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of drunkenness to all the surrounding peoples, when they lay siege against Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall happen in that day that I will make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. All who would heave it away will surely be cut in pieces, though all nations of the earth are gathered against it. Scripture plainly tells us all nations, including America, will be gathered against Jerusalem in the last days. I have often wondered what could possibly cause America to turn on Israel. I believe the answer is not. If the Democrats get control of the presidency, House, and Senate, the U.S. government will turn on Israel. We have listened to and watched the anti-Semitic behavior of the Squad, also known as the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. The United States government will one day turn on Israel and bring the wrath of God upon this nation.
And talk to us, too, about the potential of an Iranian nuclear deal being renewed by a Biden administration.
Well, that's another huge one, because Biden has promised it more than once that that's what they will do. They will re-enter and resubmit to that agreement. And of course, the sanctions on Iran have been having devastating consequences. The world has kind of faced up to the fact for the last 3 years that the Iran deal is over and done with. And now Biden promises to bring it back, which means the rise of globalism, the rise of
it's not a
Palestinian talks. I mean, I think you would have.
I had a
little
discussion yesterday with.
The contrast is extremely stark.
Forgotten prophecy.
Who the fuck was that? Nobles Day doesn't.
About the.
Nobles Day was like putting down flat Earth. Like, I don't know if he was disagreeing with it or not, but that towards the end he started to like. No, he wasn't agreeing with it, but he wasn't as stern as he was before. It was like he totally shot down flat Earth before, and he kept on saying that there's so many flaws in flat Earth. I was like, yo, name one. Debunk one of the things that we lean on kind of hard to describe a flat Earth, and he couldn't do it. But yet,
we're not here to force it on anyone.
Right? Yeah. No, I know that. I know that. But I mean, if you're going to say something,
he's a friend. He's a good person. He's a friend. I'm not going to beat him up for not
No, I'm not doing that
know.
either. You know,
All
I'm
right,
just
well,
saying that we had a nice discussion about it. Well, not a nice discussion, but
well, you know, I just pray for people that don't, you know, don't understand it, you know, but it's all good, man. He'll get it eventually if he doesn't get it fully now.
The fate of Iran's current nuclear aspirations, as we read in Jeremiah 49:34-39. The word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet against Elam in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah, saying, thus says the Lord of hosts, behold, I will break the bow of Elam.
Do you have two tabs open?
In this prophecy, Jeremiah predicts that Iran will suffer the fate of a broken bow, which might imply that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps will be unable to launch scores of its missiles at its enemies. Additionally, he declares that Iran will be struck at the foremost place of its might, which today could infer an attack upon its nuclear program. One of Iran's most strategic and vulnerable nuclear targets is the Bushehr nuclear reactor, located in the heart of ancient Elam. Jeremiah continues in verses 36 and 37. Against Elam I will bring the four winds from the four quarters of heaven, and scatter them toward all those winds. There shall be no nations where the outcasts of Elam will not go. For I will cause Elam to be dismayed before their enemies, and before those who seek their life. I will bring disaster upon them, my fierce anger, says the Lord, and I will send the sword after them, until I have consumed them. Jeremiah informs that the attack upon the ancient territory of Elam will produce numerous refugees, perhaps even turning into a humanitarian crisis. Exiles will be dispersed worldwide, as if being blown about by overpowering winds. In addition to the Lord, Iran has enemies in this prophecy. Israel seeks to prevent Iran from becoming a nuclear nation. Additionally, Jeremiah says that Iran has fiercely angered the Lord, and that provokes the Lord to cause a severe disaster inside of Iran. Perhaps this alludes to a nuclear disaster caused from a strike upon Iran's Bushehr nuclear reactor. Jeremiah's last two verses present the exiles of Jeremiah 49:36 with great news. I will set my throne in Elam, and will destroy from there the king and the princes, says the Lord. But it shall come to pass in the latter days, I will bring back the captives of Elam, says the Lord. Iranians who accept Christ in advance of his second coming
422
will be returned from
somewhere.
global exile into the restored fortunes of their historic homeland in Elam. Moreover, Jerusalem and Elam are the only two earthly locations identified in Scripture
Hey, Michael
for the
Healy.
future establishment of the Lord's throne. As we
Captain
get closer
Rankin.
to the rapture, the tribulation, and the second coming of Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit will reveal to students of Bible prophecy the relevance of additional overlooked prophecies concerning the end times. Is the prophecy of Elam one of those prophecies?
Here in the U.S., as you know, we're all holding our collective breath to see who will win the White House. What's the atmosphere like over there?
Well, George, everybody's holding their breath here as well. I mean, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen there for the presidential election, as you know, is going to have a profound impact not only on Israel but the entire Middle East, much for that matter, the rest of the world. And I know the outcome right now is something they're waiting and watching right now. We'll see what happens. You know, maybe, as Caitlin said, maybe it will be days or months before all the election results come in.
Chris, I mean, I know the President Trump has had a profound impact on the Middle East thus far in the last 4 years that he has been in charge. Who do Israelis and the Middle East, for that matter, benefit more from, a Biden or a Trump administration?
Well, George, it would be really depending on who you ask. If you ask the Palestinian Authority, they're going to say they're hoping actually for a Biden win, because that will shift the attention away from the Abraham Accords back onto them. And that's exactly what they want. Take a look at Iran. They're going to likely hoping for a Biden win, too, because what they're going to get, it would be relief from sanctions and a renewal of the Iranian nuclear deal. However, others here in the Middle East, especially here in Israel, they would see that as a disaster, a danger to Israel and also the rest of the Sunni Middle East. In fact, one Israeli minister said it would lead to war.
Ezekiel 38:1-9. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, set your face toward Gog of the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus says the Lord God, Behold, I am against you, O Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn you about and put hooks into your jaws, and I will bring you out, and all your army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed in full armor, a great host, all of them with buckler and shield, wielding swords. Persia, Cush, and Put are with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his hordes, Beth-Garma from the uttermost parts of the north with all his hordes. Many peoples are with you. Be ready and keep ready, you and all your hosts that are assembled about you, and be a guard for them. After many days you will be mustered. In the latter years you will go against the land that is restored from war, the land whose people were gathered from many peoples upon the mountains of Israel, which had been a continual waste. Its people were brought out from the peoples and now dwell securely, all of them. You will advance, coming on like a storm. You will be like a cloud covering the land, you and all your hordes, and many peoples with you. These are the modern-day nations in Ezekiel 38 and 39 that many people believe will be mustered in the latter years to attack Israel: Russia, Iran, Turkey, Libya, Sudan, and Ethiopia. God tells us exactly what will happen to Iran, Russia, Turkey, and the many peoples with you when they attack Israel in Ezekiel 38, 18 through 23, and 39, 2, 7, and 8. And it will come to pass at the same time, when God comes against the land of Israel, says the Lord God, that my fury will show in my face. For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath I have spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great earthquake in the land of Israel, so that the fish of the sea, the birds of the heavens, the beasts of the field, all creeping things that creep on the earth, and all men who are on the face of the earth shall shake at my presence. The mountains shall be thrown down, the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. I will call for a sword against Gog throughout all my mountains, says the Lord God. Every man's sword will be against his brother, and I will bring him into judgment with pestilence and bloodshed. I will rain down on him, on his troops, and on the many peoples who are with him, flooding rain, great hailstones, fire, and brimstone. Thus I will magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations. Then they shall know that I am the Lord. And I will turn thee back, and leave but the sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. So I will make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them profane my holy name any more. Then the nations shall know that I am the Lord, the Holy One in Israel. Surely it is coming.
Sorry, people.
It shall be done, says the Lord God. This is the day of which I have spoken.
I've been informed by top-ranking military officials that Israel has been unable to launch even a single plane in defense. As I stand here, fighter planes are exploding in midair. They're crashing and falling to the ground without any explanation. And while no one can seem to give me any reason for why this is happening, I can...
Israel. Zechariah 2, 8, and 9. For thus says the Lord of hosts, He sent me after glory to the nations which plunder you. For he who touches you touches the apple of his eye. For surely I will shake my hand again and know that the Lord of hosts has sent me. Israel is precious to Almighty God, the apple of his eye. He is simply saying, you touch my children.
Excuse me.
Is Vladimir Putin the infamous Gog of Magog that the prophet Ezekiel warned would come on the scene in the last days and lead a coalition of nations to destroy Israel? Or could Gog be Recep Tayyip Erdogan, another dictator who is fast gaining power and dominance in the Middle East? Biblical scholars can't agree if the prophet Ezekiel was talking about a last days assault on Israel being led by Russia or Turkey. Many popular Bible teachers claim that Gog will come from Russia, while others claim that Ezekiel's prophecy actually points to Turkey. Whether Gog is from Russia or Turkey, both nations are presently being led by undisputed dictators who could each very easily fit the Gog profile. Is America in Bible prophecy? Bible scholars debate on whether America is in Bible prophecy. The United States of America is never explicitly mentioned. There are two places in the Bible that could refer to the U.S. The first place is found in Revelation 18, 1-24, where the Apostle John declares this: After these things I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illuminated with his glory. And he cried mightily with a loud voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. For all the nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached to heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Render to her just as she rendered to you, and repay her double according to her works. In the cup which she has mixed double for her. In the measure that she glorified herself, and live luxuriously, in the same measure give her torment and sorrow. For she says in her heart, I sit as queen, and am no widow, and will not see sorrow. Therefore her plagues will come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she will be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her. The kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived luxuriously with her will weep and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, standing at a distance for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour your judgment has come. And the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise anymore. Merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linen and purple, silk and scarlet, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of most precious wood, bronze, iron, and marble, and cinnamon and incense, fragrant oil and frankincense, wine and oil, fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and chariots, and bodies and souls of men. The fruit that your soul longed for has gone from you, and all the things which are rich and splendid have gone from you, and you shall find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, who became rich by her, will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing. Every shipmaster, all who traveled by ship, sailors, and as many as trade on the sea, stood at a distance, and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What is like this great city? They threw dust on their heads and cried out, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city, in which all who had ships on the sea became rich by her wealth, for in 1 hour she is made desolate. Rejoice over her, O heaven, and you holy apostles and prophets, for God has avenged you on her. Then a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and threw it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence the great city Babylon shall be thrown down, and shall not be found any more. The sound of harpists, musicians, flutists, and trumpeters shall not be heard in you any more. No craftsman of any craft shall be found in
No
you
more
any
Trump.
more. And the sound of a millstone shall not be heard in you any more. The light of a lamp shall not shine in you any more. And the voice of bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you any more. For your merchants were the great men of the earth. For by your sorcery all the nations were deceived.
Sorcery.
And in her was found the blood of prophets.
That's a big one. For your merchants were great men of the earth. For your sorcery, all the nations were deceived. Yes. Sorcery is how they're doing the Mandela effect in scripture changes, folks. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and the saints and all who were slain on the earth.
Prophets and saints, and of all who were slain on the earth. America does seem to fit the description of the great city of Babylon. Is America Babylon, in which God will destroy in 1 hour? The second place is found in Ezekiel 38, 10 through 13, where the prophet Ezekiel proclaims, Thus says the Lord God, on that day the thoughts will arise in your mind, speaking of Russia, Iran, and a coalition of nations, and you will make an evil plan. You will say, I will go up against the land of unwalled villages. I will go to a peaceful people who dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates, speaking of Israel, to take plunder and to take booty, to stretch out your hand against the waste places that are again inhabited, and against the people gathered from the nations, who have acquired livestock and goods, who dwell in the midst of the land. Sheba, Dedan, the merchants of Tarshish, and all their young lions will say to you,
I'm going to drop off, fellas.
You gathered your army.
Peace later, all right?
Carry away silver and gold.
Get out of here. Peace and love to everybody in the chat, and talk to you later, Moonage and Tommy. Peace and love to you too.
Mandela Union Jack. Mandela affected Union
and all
Jack.
their young lions is the United States of America. If this is true, why is America saying, have you come to take plunder? Have you gathered your army to take booty, to carry away silver and gold, to take away livestock and goods, to take great plunder? America is Israel's ally. Why aren't we defending Israel? If America is indeed all their young lions, something catastrophic must have happened. What could this catastrophic event be? Is it World War III, in which the United States was decimated? Is it a financial collapse in which the United States didn't have the resources to help Israel? Could it be that the United States simply turned against Israel and didn't want to help? Or could it possibly be the rapture of the church? I pray if all their young lions is America, that by God's grace and mercy, it is the rapture. For those who are left behind, it is time to run to Jesus. You more than likely will not survive the 7-year tribulation when Jesus returns, as the Antichrist will be looking to kill all Jews and Christians, and will require the inhabitants of the earth to take the mark signifying that they worship him as God.
It's coming, folks.
Without this mark, you will not be able to buy or sell.
Coming.
It would be so much easier to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior today, as Jesus provided an escape for his true followers, as we read in Luke 21:36. Watch therefore, and pray always that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
One day, Jesus is coming. You may be at church. You may be at work. You may be asleep. God grant that you will be ready when he makes his personal appearance.
Be ready. Be ready. Oh my. Please be ready, people. Nothing going on YouTube. On the boob tube. Are you still with me, Voynich?
I'm still with you.
Okay, see.
Hey, I see that Patrick is waiting in the back room.
Is he? Well, why didn't you tell me? Shoot.
I see now.
No, he's not.
Oh.
Well, maybe he came in and decided not to. What? No.
Probably an hour ago that he said that. Oh, no,
Yeah, you silly.
20 minutes ago.
You say. Yeah, no, but nobody's back there. I'll drop the link one more time. We're already over 3 hours, so I'm gonna go just a little bit longer. That's about it, guys. I've got to go let my sister's cat out of the house. He's probably going nuts in there, while she's at work. He when he wants out, he wants out. And Matt, Macedonian Truth is joining us. Hello.
Oh, Alex. Hi, man.
Yo, 1 sec. My speaker's off.
Okay.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, Alex.
Good. How's it going, guys?
Well, we've just been following the breaking news, What do you think about it?
Wow. This sideswiped me for sure, man. And sorry about the 5 minutes. That was more like almost an hour.
Jennifer, welcome. Yeah, no, all good. So, have you ever voted in your life?
Yeah, man. And I live in Canada, so when I was first able to vote, that was 2 elections ago here when we first voted in Justin Trudeau, and I voted because I vehemently wanted Harper out, and I was at the beginning kind of my truth journey back then, And then the last election, I also voted, basically only because the guy I was living with, probably would have kicked me out of his house if I didn't go and vote.
Right.
But, yeah.
Well, the only time I ever voted was to appease my grandfather, who I was living with, he just really wanted, me to vote with him, and I had to go take him to vote anyway. So I voted for Gary Johnson. I was no way I was voting for a Republican or a Democrat, and I knew my vote wasn't going to matter anyway, going to either one or any of them. So I'm like, well, might as well give it to the underdog, that at least isn't the mainstream, And so Gary Johnson, libertarian or whatever he was, independent, but yeah, I think this is gonna. I think that this is gonna be the start of people waking up. A lot of people waking up that thought they thought they could trust the system. Hi, Terra Nova. Sorry. West Texas, Zepso, Jennifer, D-Bird. and everybody else. I appreciate the 24 that are here very much. Thank you guys. Nikki Fry, Robert Alley, so on and so on. You know, you guys are the best and blessed, and so appreciate you, Kelly, Effie. Yep. All you good ones. All right. So, what else is going through your mind on it?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, man. My speaker died just before you were starting to give out those shout outs, so I missed kind of what you said. But I predicted, like beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Trump was going to be pre-selected again. You know, you guys mentioned earlier, like what president, so-called president, gets one term. You know, and
Right.
I really thought that Trump was the man for the agenda. You know, I mean, like he's even got truthers, you know, following him, so-called truthers.
Yeah. Well, we lost one for sure, Joey Rosa, to him.
Yeah. And another one that I unsubbed the night before the so-called election was Alex Stein. Unfortunately, I'm not taking any of that Trump stuff from him. You know, I think he's a good guy, but like, they just don't belong on my subscription page. You know.
Right. Gotcha.
No politics, dude.
Yeah. You know, this is as close to we get to politics is just talking about how pathetic it is and how, you know, rigged it is, and how they're both ultimately working for the beast system, the New World Order, One World Order agenda, you know, all that good stuff. So, you know, it's hard to break people out of that programming indoctrination of, you know, and faith they have in politicians, and even I like to say even in, you know, religious leaders too, you know, because both were fully hijacked by the NWO, by the New World Order agenda, the politics and religion, and you know, so it shouldn't be any surprise that we have the you know, the crap we have to deal with today because of their, you know, their them taking it over, hijacking the, you know, the and everything. So, you know, I don't know how long it's been corrupt as far as politics are concerned. I think our forefathers, you know, wanted us to have a republic, and that didn't last long. So, you know, I mean, they predicted that, you know, if the people allowed it, that there would be, you know, tyranny. There would be what we're seeing happen. So, you know, it's shame on all of us too for just letting the government get so big and out of control. Because, you know, I mean, at some point we felt like, I guess, that, you know, we should trust the government and you know, not oversee them or not call them out on their crap, you know. And I'm not saying, you know, everybody, but, you know, I mean, definitely not saying that we weren't calling them out, but, you know, the majority of Americans. And so when you just let a runaway train just keep on going and you keep putting fuel in it, you know, I mean, it's going to keep on going, and we're going to see it crash one of these days, the whole system. But, you know, they're going to have the upper hand for a little while, and they're going to, you know, they're going to enslave a bunch of people, you know, and it's we know we're not going to be enslaved. Either they'll have to kill us or we'll, you know, whatever, but we're not going to, you know, allow them to and fully enslave us like they want, you know, to do to everyone. And but see, you know, they're okay with whatever choice we make, because, you know, they also want to kill many people, you know, too, so that they have more resources. So, you know, they really could care less, you know, since our numbers are so small, they could really care less of how we choose to play it out. You know, they're prepared for anything and everything. So we should be prepared for anything and everything too, you know. And, you know, definitely don't kill yourself. Nobody should, you know, if you don't, you know, I mean, we've all had thoughts of, you know, we wish we were dead, but, you know, that will certainly not help anybody, you know.
No. Yeah, we're put on here at a time right now for this reason, you know, and this is we have to survive through it and be the best that we can be right now.
Yeah.
Tommy, you bring me to something I wanted to ask you and kind of talk about. This so-called election result is, probably just as surprising as the last one, when everyone thought that Hillary was going to win. And I think, like, the way it sideswipes me is I really have to change how I think things are going to play out at this point, of course. And I'm wondering, what's your guys' take on that? Now, I did mention some Simpsons predictive programming in the chat earlier that people were asking me about. And I'm only aware of this because RFB posted it today. Now, I don't trust everything RFB says, but this Simpsons programming is pretty blatant. And, I almost want to say it looks fake, but I think it's real.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. We definitely need to verify, because I've heard now that the Trump in a coffin was fake. Wasn't a real episode or whatever. So I'm willing to look at it definitely and see. Richie from Boston has come a long, long way from what he used to talk about, or and at least his stance and stuff. So I mean, of course I don't believe everything anybody says. So but I've been praying for Richie for years, and for some reason he chose to follow me on Twitter, and has for years. I'm one of the first people he started following on Twitter, and he only follows a couple hundred people or so, like I do, but it is what it is. He has the pieces of the puzzle and insight and wisdom, just like we do, and so he has all those numbers of people, so he should definitely be sharing stuff that that makes sense and is verified, and
that's what I'm saying. I trust that he's not going to put like huge disinfo out like that.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't seen the actual episode myself, but have you guys seen it? What's happening?
No, I'll have to check it out. Is anybody else talking about it? Somebody says it's fake, but there is fake, or what? Let's see. Michael says what? The Simpsons programming is there, but there is defo fake stuff too. Huh. Yeah, let me just see what I can find real quick while we're sitting here.
Sure.
And was that on RFB too?
I got to check. I think
I'm there. Yeah, I see it. Yep. Okay. All right, let me screen share, and then we'll play that right now. And what he put out. It's only 7 minutes long, so. Yeah, and I tend to agree with Rachel there. But money's definitely going to be thrown around by both sides, all sides. Because they think that's going to help them. But anyway, all right. So screen share, and let's check out RFB's 2 channel and that video he put out.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 7th of November in the year 2020. And we don't even know if that's the right date. We don't even know who the president of the Corporation of America is. But last night, I did a pretty good video on it. Now, this video is in response to about a jillion emails that I got asking where I am. Well, I still have this channel, and it's not called Richie from Boston. It's Richie from Boston 2, RFB 2. You see that? And I did a live stream with James Corbett the other night. And then you can also find me on Richie from Boston TV. Okay? I'm always uploading new videos like I did last night, the day before, etc., etc., etc. $2.99 a month. You can sign up or don't. But here's the deal. I upload the videos that I upload from Richie from Boston TV. The following day, I upload them to Patreon. I mean, BitChute, my bad.
I thought that was taken down.
BitChute hasn't been rock solid whatsoever at all. As a matter of fact, they shut it down on election night. So there's that. So it might. I mean, with Biden, with whatever's coming, it ain't gonna get better for us. Put it that way. Censorship's gonna get much worse. They're already doing new lockdowns, which I covered in this video last night, right here, and then put it up on BitChute this morning. But long story short, you can find me here. You can find me on the Band 1 911, but I've been locked out of that channel for weeks. This channel right here, I've been locked out of this channel for weeks.
Everybody keeps talking about weeks, and I get months.
And check this out. I told you guys about a week ago that I wouldn't try ordering this because I didn't think they could ship. And I left it at that because I don't want you guys doing anything that's not going to be helpful to you. You see what I'm saying? I don't push anything whatsoever at all except for this, and I believed they wouldn't be able to ship. Well, the directing manager or whatever called me and said, if you order from this site, they will ship it within a week. So I guess there is still time. Feel free to order this. I'll leave a link below. You can find my newest videos on BitChute or Richie from Boston TV, but trying to post them on YouTube is almost impossible because I'm locked out of my channels or they censor the stuffing out of you. Also, on my other YouTube channel, Jailbreak Overlander, I just uploaded this video this morning, but I have had a military airman come on and help me with building your own first aid kit, individual first aid kit, building your own escape and evade thing. There's a lot on here that will help you get prepared. Now, remember, everyone's like, well, you're going to drag all this stuff when you bug out. Do you even know what any of this means? When everything goes horribly wrong, are you going to wait for these guys to send you food? You know, we talk about The Simpsons all the time and how The Simpsons always shows us what's coming down the pike. Well, this is what The Simpsons is predicting for a couple months from now.
Okay, let's see it.
Telling you what's coming, and everyone's wearing a mask. You see that? Isn't that beautiful? And Marge tells Homer to vote, etc., etc. Well, here's the deal. This is what happens when Homer falls asleep or whatever. The Simpsons has always shown us what's coming down the pike. This is what they do. Notice that this says Department of Homeland Security right on it. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked.
Yeah.
Let's stand by. Watch this. This is beautiful.
Look at that.
Wow.
Pestilence, famine, and war. Pestilence would be an outbreak or some sort of something that makes everybody sick. Famine would be what I've been warning you about for months and months and months before this was even a thing. So order this now while you can. And then war. War will be the end result of these two things. But them showing this in The Simpsons, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to pay attention because everything is going to go horribly wrong. Like I said in the video that I made last night, right here, they are starting to lock down. They've locked down. They're trying to invoke new emergency measures, in 13 states. I posted this last night on Twitter, and it says these 11 states are starting to lock down again. The strange thing is it says in the actual article, these 13 states are starting to lock down again. But when I posted it on Twitter, it keeps saying 11. I don't know. 11 and 13 are two big numbers, but I showed this last night in the video. Florida, Michigan, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Illinois, New Mexico, Colorado, Idaho, Wisconsin, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Texas. Yeah. Be ready or don't. It doesn't make any difference. I can't say that. It does make a difference to me because I've met a lot of you people and I'm going to meet more, hopefully. But it's coming. It is without a doubt coming. And it's funny because you've got other channels that do impersonations of me and this, that, and the other thing, and it's cool. But here's something. I noticed in the comments that they say that I always say, like I told you, well, there's a reason for that. When you've been talking about the things we've been talking about over the years, when they start happening in real time, you need to remind people because All our circumstances are not normal right now. Everything that's happening is everything we've been talking about for a year, and it's happening, and these guys are trying to go for it all over again. Be ready, or don't. It's your call. I want to read this prayer that somebody sent me real quick, and it's according to 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear them from heaven, and I will forgive their sin and heal their land. In Jesus' holy name I pray. Richie from Boston, I'm out.
So what do you guys think?
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
Yeah.
If that's real, then they're definitely showing, like they always have for decades, what their plans are in news, movies and shows and everything else.
Well, I don't think that's something that's too far-fetched from what we basically know is in the pipeline eventually.
Right. It sounds like
how soon is it? Like that Simpsons episode basically shows on it January 20 or whatever, 2021, and obviously something more needs to happen to get to that point. And like you said earlier, maybe the Trump supporters are going to start some shit.
On his behalf, or he may invoke them to do it. But we're just going to see how it plays out. It's going to be really interesting, to say the least.
Interesting.
Oh my God! It's going to get real. I mean, I don't want to sit here and get too real about it, and because people will just say you're a doom and gloomer. But I mean, you just got to read the book of Revelation. We're in chapter 12. And we're waiting for the second half of that chapter to play out. And then 13 is where the false prophet and the Antichrist do their thing, and the mark of the beast comes along. And that's, to me, is just a few years away, all that stuff happening.
If it is that long, I can see it coming within a year.
Well, I believe that's what I'm saying. I believe the tribulation period starts in 2021, and then, it gets progressively more and more crazy as it goes on, during the last 7 years.
Well, you know why I kind of, just my personal experiences and things that I think are kind of signs from God for me, and I'm with you, Tommy, that the so-called tribulation would start in 2021, and I've actually just had that prediction for a while, like I said, because of my own personal experiences.
That's great.
And it was really weird. I'm not superstitious or anything like that, but so almost 7 years ago, I accidentally broke a Freemason's mirror in a bar, and this guy really, really tried to screw me over. And at this time in my life, it was like half the tenants in my apartment building and I were about to lead a class action lawsuit on the landlord for multiple problems, and then I had this guy coming up with criminal charges against me to pay for his stupid mirror. And, this is all just speculation and so-called superstition that I don't really believe in. But so I had a coworker that was saying, just kind of bringing up the bad luck aspect to it, 7 years thing. And I'm thinking, yeah, right, but what really started happening in my life, like beginning from that time, not long after, just a couple weeks after the coup in Ukraine happened, which was something that really, really woke me up. I mean, I've always been awake to 9/11, the events in New York, and so I had so many experiences throughout that year. I had to start researching a whole bunch of stuff, and a year later, coming across the flat Earth, and I've always kind of wondered is my so-called bad luck actually going to end after the 7 years, or like what's going to happen after the so-called 7 years? I don't know. I actually was thinking at the early stages that maybe the tribulation started already at that point, But
I went through that too, but I got confirmation that we weren't in it yet. So I thought it was going to be 2014 to whatever or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, it's or 15. I don't know, one or two. I can't remember right now, but but yeah, no. I definitely think I'm not far off, if any, and I'm, I see now in the last couple of months a lot more watchmen on the walls, watchmen and watchwomen, saying that they believe it's we're that close to the tribulation period too. So yeah, I've been saying it for a few years, but it doesn't matter who said it first or anything like that. It's not a competition. It's just we need to prepare and have our houses in order.
Oh yeah, and if that Simpsons episode is anything to take notice to, and I think we should at least a bit, war, pestilence, and famine. Hello, that is the tribulation.
Exactly.
Own it there for put it right in the faces as mockery.
Yeah, that's right. So it's our choice what to take serious, and what how we're gonna prepare. So I mean, I just hope that people do take serious that we are coming up on the tribulation period, and just don't live in fear, but just please just try to be the best that you can, and try not. Just try not to give in to this system, because it just, you're going to be way better off if you don't, even if you have to starve to death or whatever,
Yeah, I was going for a little walk earlier, when I got my coffee, and I walked. I live in kind of a bar district, and I walked by, all these patios with the tents and people lining up outside, wearing their face bags. And I walked by through the line of them, and I said, take off your face bags. How long are you guys going to do this? And most of them were just they looked at me like, looking kind of stupid, like, I actually don't know. But then the one guy, he tells me, mind your own business. And I said something back to him, and then he goes, you lost. I'm walking away. He goes, you lost. And it took me a second, and I usually play stupid to this type of shit because it really is stupid. I shouldn't even have to know what the hell he's talking about. But I said, it took me a second, and I said, are you trying to tie me into the political system? You actually believe that elections are real? And then, so there was a group of like maybe 7 people, guys and girls, walking by me as I'm walking away. And then the guy that was walking in front of me turned back and started laughing. He's like, I wonder what he's going to say to them. And I didn't realize none of them were wearing a mouth bag, and they walked up right behind him in line. So then I turned back, I went a little bit closer again, started filming, and just wanted to see how the interaction would go. He avoided him like crazy, stood like 8 feet away, and then I started saying to him, "Are you going to call all of them Trump supporters too? Give me a break."
Right, exactly. Yeah, and so we will be called all kinds of things. It's even the Bible tells us, So yeah, we just gotta get harden our skin and just toughen up and be ready to take the persecution and the mockers and scoffers and all that good stuff, bad stuff. But yeah, let's see what this jump's saying here.
But all fall, we kept talking about how Election Day could turn into Election Week. And sure enough, It did. So we've been here at the decision desk since Tuesday night, watching vote after vote come in. And yes, so Pennsylvania has come in and has put Joe Biden over the top. Also Nevada, then adding to his electoral count to get to 279 over the 270 that he needed. But look, the breakdown of what's gone on over these last few days has been us watching the reports from county after county and state after state as elections officials tallied those ballots. And we've known all along that because this year voting in a pandemic, some people voting by mail, and then many people, including many Republicans,
they knew they could hijack it.
That there would be a lot of ballots to count, and clearly they took their time. They were getting it right, and we were just waiting for those reports. We take those reports, we put them in to our models, and then at a certain point, it just came down to sort of basic math. How many ballots are remaining? How far behind is the trailing candidate? And then you make the projection, Lana.
And I know that there were a lot of people who were anxious to have some call made, whether it was for Trump or for Biden, just to have the release of knowing. But even as we now have been able to project that Biden has won the presidency, there are still several states that are counting ballots, and that process is continuing. Can you go ahead and take us through Georgia, North Carolina, and Arizona? I'm wondering what's the latest on the ground there, and when do we expect to see results that are definitive from those states?
Well, let's start with Georgia, where you see Joe Biden has the narrowest of leads, 2,461,000, 2,454,000. 49.4 to 49.3, so we're down to the decimal point there. Now we hear that'll go to a recount, so we'll see what happens there. But having said that, the counting is done, and the story here was that Joe Biden, as we suspected he'd have to, were he to be competitive in the state, did well in the Atlanta metro region, got strong support there. That's critical for Democrats. The president getting strong election day vote, and that's important. That was important for him. That's where Georgia is at the moment. And then I'll take you up to North Carolina.
My home
we have
state.
the reverse situation. We have the president
Georgia.
out in front. In
North Carolina.
But North Carolina will start reporting more next week. So we're going to have to wait for that to see where that goes. And then Arizona, here has been an interesting case where Joe Biden it's been leaning towards him, but as reports are coming in, the gap is getting a little bit more narrow. What we do here, Lana, is we look at the number of outstanding ballots and what percent of those outstanding ballots does the trailing candidate need to catch up. Right now in our computations, that number is 58% for President Trump, meaning he'd need 58% of what's remaining to catch up. Now, one question there is how many ballots are remaining? We're always looking to find that out as we get reports. Ultimately, the question will be, can he make this number? It's higher than his current statewide average. So that, in some respects, might not, you might think, well, he's got to outperform his statewide average to do that. It remains possible. The question will just be how many ballots are left to report to see if Joe Biden
3% are left. Why don't you just say it? You see 97% in, 3% left.
Maricopa County, Maricopa.
95, 5% left
so that's
there.
The big county that most folks are watching there, Lana.
And Anthony, you have gotten very little sleep. You have been at this board for several weeks now, but particularly in the last couple of days. And for our viewers, Anthony is the guy, together with his team, who makes these decisions, who looks at the data, who analyzes where we're getting votes and where we're still waiting for votes. Can you take us a little bit more inside this process? Because I think, given how different this election has been with a number of early votes, mail-in votes, and absentee votes, and how close it has been, and in several states, perhaps surprising as they've moved from red to blue. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you make those decisions? And
red, blue, they both want to fuck you.
The moment that you decide Pennsylvania is in fact going to be something that you could project.
But I was muted.
Sure. Well, taking those in order, yes, I've gotten some very kind people on Twitter saying, "Boy, you look like you need sleep. Are you doing okay? Look at those bags under your eyes." I'm happy to report to everyone. It's very nice. I can happily report to everyone we are doing okay. Look, big picture here is that so many millions of Americans, a record number of Americans, went out and voted in this election, and it's really, it's really very important, of course, to report then back to them.
Don't you guys feel that this election was like a football game?
So it's an honor to do that. And
I mean, I didn't catch too much of it since I'm not really interested anymore, and I don't live in America. But it's
same Voynich. But I was like tuning in from the beginning. I always thought that elections were decided the night of in the United States, and it was weird, just to see it not be decided. And I don't know if that's always happened, and it almost felt like a Mandela update for me. But first Biden was leading strong, and then they left a back door for a come from behind Trump win, so-called win from the get-go, and then it's kind of tied out for a little while, and then continued on, dragging on for another day or two, with Biden getting way more votes, and then Trump kind of like falling behind. And I really thought that Trump was just going to get all these votes counted from out of nowhere and win,
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's still, when I look at it, I think it's just like they decided, well, we can get more aggravation and anger from the Trump side than from the Biden side, so we're gonna let Trump lose.
Yeah, we'll see.
Something like that.
We'll see.
On the other end, people are far too lazy to start fighting.
Yeah.
When they get hangry though, watch out.
Yeah.
Hungry, and angry.
Yeah.
But it amazes me. They don't want to fight for the right to go into a store unmuzzled, but they want to fight over these stupid differences.
Yeah, well, that's what they're going to be thinking about when it's just going to be whatever triggers either side. It's going to be about everything.
Whatever they're.
See, we're all frogs boiling in a pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you.
Boiling frogs.
Rachel, New York Truth. Do new anchors look like reporters or actors and models? I'd go with actors and models.
Yeah. Just like Astro actors, NASA Astro actors. Yeah, everybody's an actor these days. They just pick their price. Okay, well, I'll act and do whatever you tell me to say for $1 million, $2 million, whatever it is, and people are selling themselves. They're selling their loyalty and themselves, their souls, and it's like it's nothing to them.
I heard it pays well.
Yeah, well, you also see people like Robin Williams, and a lot of other ones that eventually get tired of playing the devil's game, and then they say no more, and then they wind up dead.
Yeah.
Early. Just like a gang, mafia. You once you get in, you gotta have to bleed out. To get out.
Yeah.
So, let's see where we're at, because I definitely have got to keep in mind. I got to go let my sister's cat out. I don't know. What are y'all thinking about? Should we wrap this up, or try to get some more people in here, or keep following it, or keep talking about it? What do you think?
I think you should take care of your kitten, because you've been talking about it all the time.
Yeah, and I'm going to log off soon too. So if you guys want to wrap it up, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, I guess 3 hours and 40 minutes was enough to spend on the NWO Dog and Pony Crap Show, and there'll be more excitement to come. I'm sure that we'll cover. Yeah. But,
and Tommy, I'm sure you're sick of hearing this already, but I'm glad you're still on YouTube.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they're not attacking this channel. Thank you, and like I said, hopefully next month I'll get not next month, in January I'll get my main channel back. And
This shit makes no sense, Tommy. Like the last video that I got striked for on my main channel. Scamming and deceptive practices. I got the same video on my backup. No problems.
Right. Yeah, that's what lets me know that they're definitely somehow I got on their hit list. Whatever. And it's hard to get off of that hit list. Like Brian Stabley's on it, Voynich. So yeah, it's a lot of other people, and it's just it sucks. YouTube hates the truth, and therefore they hate us for loving and spreading the truth, and they could survive without us on their platform. So we're just just useless to them.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Hey, I'm chiming out. I'll see you later.
Yep,
Okay,
we'll wrap it on up. Thanks, guys, so much, and thank you everyone in the chat that came today and is here. And I really appreciate that you guys understand the times we're living in and how fake everything is. That's not real, and there's plenty of fake out there. So just keep loving the truth and spreading the truth. And being the best you can be, and just. Know that we know how the story ends, and the evil does not win in the end. So amen to that, and God bless you all. Tommy here, Tommy out. Thank you so much.
Well said. Take care, everyone, and God bless.
Yep, take care.